There is victory for us. There is victory for us. In the struggles of APC, there is victory for us. For us, oh yes. For us, oh yes. In the struggles of APC, there is victory.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Everyday Politics Monologue program, where they come live from the APC UKI online TV platform with me, Abubakar Kagbo, commonly called ABS, as our presenter. Today we get a very well, as we always do, we get a topic where we bring to our doorstep. We don't send with flyer, we don't go around today, and we're going to do we examine what's go on in the 4 years of President Julius Maada Bio in governance and how APC don't conduct themselves. So we come up with a question. The question therefore do as this: has APC badly miscalculated the political strategies of Paopa in the last 4 years? This is not a question where we want to ask. But the reason which make we ask this question, the world know what happened Sierra Leone very recently and what happened before that. We get a protest which starts on the 8th as a sit down at home, and then also on the 10th, people and citizens then decide to go na streets for exercise their democratic rights, which is the right to protest. Along the protests, claims and counterclaims, the security forces they say the crowds turn violence, and then listening to the people who be in the streets also they give their own accounts, say they were actually targeted by the security forces under the presidency of Maada Bio. But when this really happened, but before this happened, we don't get rhetoric them when the people when they call PPP, then see them they come out in the streets for demonstrates. The rhetoric from the government side was that then they declare death to anybody we take to the streets. So could there be a strong evidence for sure say the violence was actually provoked by the government of His Excellency? The security forces then provoked the violence, was it a calculated ploy? We're going to explore all of that. But fast forward, when this thing happened, the APC at home and across the world actually wake up to the greatest surprise after the government of Maada Bio don't expunge from we law books, which they call a death penalty. There's summarily or extrajudicially executes a very legendary comrade in the APC by the name of Hassan Doumbouya, aka Evangelist Samson. Kill him, Namakeni, in cold blood. We not therefore actually bring those footages out because we want to respect the dead. So I think tonight, if we look with flyer, we actually change with flyer to waiting it normally they be. Because Evangelist Samson na somebody way APC na a big icon at the APC. Now the young man way if like he starts introduce them, he say na the young man will stand for the truth, and na the young man will stand for justice, and the young man will stand for ensure that he work assiduously for ensure APC return back to governance. So ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, we therefore can start some tributes, but I want to ask Una for help with for share far and wide the link tonight as we always can help we so that other people and we will join me in this show. I get me guests them we get for come tonight for can talk on this topic. So the topic is going to be a broad thing. As when I say the topic, as the APC badly miscalculated the the political strategies of Paopa in the last 4 years. And one of those strategies is what they've declared to members of the APC, when they call a very vicious necropolitics. Necropolitics is a way where governments they use state apparatus them for the time you would have for live, they would have for die. So currently in Sierra Leone, the government of President Julius Maada Bio declare death to members of the APC, especially those that are vocal. So I am going to ask you kindly, kindly, as I'm seated here, very, very sad, and I know you are sad too, because legendary in our midst. So we can start soon the tribute, but please help us share. This is one of the memories.
This very important information when it comes from me, Evangelist Samson, the APC Media Field Marshal.
Oh why, oh why.
This are the wonderful voice of Evangelist Samson, the young man we stand for the truth, the young man we stand for the people to enjoy the benefits.
Evangelist Samson don't go. Oh, oh. Me brother will say you there. Yeah, yeah. Samson don't go. Oh, oh. Me brother will say you there. Yeah, yeah. I can still hear your voice crying out while you lie in your pool of blood. They took your life away. Oh my, oh my. Your land, which should be your safest place, turned out to be your fearful place. Why do we step aside and look? Evangelist Samson don't go. Me brother will say you there. Yeah, yeah.
Apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just too sad. I'm sad not only for the life of this man we go, but I'm sitting here as a Sierra Leonean thinking about the impact we this guy forgets at the body politics of Sierra Leone. It's sad. After we don't get independence, to date, we don't go through 12 years civil war, and for make we see we country return to this barbaric behavior by state actors. After 20 years of a vicious civil war, he is not the first person to go through this. We don't get several people, the killings will don't happen under President Julius Maada Bio in watch. See how they kill Tonko Limba, they kill Tombo, they kill in Makeni, they kill in Lonshar, they kill Nalomli, the chairman of the APC, the massacre on Pademba Road, and we see how the government of President Julius Maada Bio knew about the protests. Instead of them come to find a way for address the situation, instead they come they rubbish and trivialized the situation. That was a ploy. They knew about this. They kill people. We get people like a Lima, they go around and they kill people indiscriminately. And in the process, Evangelist Samson and many others were targeted. It was an orchestrated ploy by the government of President Julius Maada Bio. There are evidences. We see the personal secretary to the First Lady, shortly when the information come out, say Evangelist Samson has been killed, they say one down. and more to go next. Rachel. So that tells you they knew about all of this. Our comrade was killed in cold blood. I actually get for said cheers. It's not allowed. But I hope my producer will forgive me. I'm just a human. And they think about how Evangelist Samson was killed and the impacts where this gets to be body politics. Some of us will exit planet Earth. Many of the young people that suffered, the one that we don't kill and the one that we survive, we still get gruesome wounds, some of them that are incarcerated, they will be the ones to take after us tomorrow when we are no more. And they will grow up with this awful memory. Guess what? We need divine intervention in Sierra Leone. Because when those young people grow up, then join politics, then they join politics with this indelible or with these enduring memories. Hence the reason why I cried. The actions of few people or politicians of today don't put a bad precedent now with body politics. And it's worth crying. Please help us. Help us. We get a lot of things for talk today because we really want for drill into the APC party with the question we put as APC badly miscalculated the political strategies of Paopa in the last 4 years. Please help us share.
This very important information when it comes from me, Evangelist Samson, the APC Media Field Marshal.
Oh why, oh why?
This is the wonderful voice of Evangelist Samson, the young man we stand for the truth, the young man we stand for letting people enjoy the benefit of the APC.
Evangelist Samson don't go. Oh, me brother, who saw you there? Yeah, yeah. Samson don't go. Me brother, who saw you there? Yeah, yeah. I can still hear your voice crying out while you lie in your pool of blood. They took your life away. Oh my, oh my. Your land which should be your safest place turned out to be your fearful place. Why do we step aside and look? Evangelist Samson don't go. Me brother, who saw you there? Yeah, yeah.
Who saw you there, Evangelist Samson? May your soul rest in perfect peace, brother. You're not a soldier without a weapon, but you use the power of your voice to communicate your message very coherently. And because of that, you became a target. You're gone. But your vision still remain. Your vision is still alive and kicking. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring the first guest for tonight. A man we don't dey as the first people way they part of the youth league in the APC, so he knows the story how APC don't actually evolve from where it starts in the 60s. And he traveled Kana UK. He don't be also a chairperson of our noble branch, APC UKI. It's no less a person That's comrade, senior comrade, Israel Papa. Senior comrade, you're most welcome.
Good evening, IBS, and good evening, listeners, good evening, viewers. I am here today with a little bit of a sad feeling following what we saw last week, especially when a lot of broadcast information has been given weeks before that a protest will be going on Monday the 8th, 9th, and 10th. It was well broadcasted. It was well publicized that by some group of people and call themselves PPP will be protesting, a sit-down protest Monday and a sit-down protest on Tuesday. I was wondering how it's going to be done because the president really called for the protest, not in the country, in outside and getting people in. And in fact, there was some, as far as I hear from some audios, they don't seem to even have coordination as to where to begin, where to assemble, or where to start. It was like shambles. The people were applying, everybody was being called to go. So I thought, how would this work? I don't even think CSF it will succeed. Coming so quick from what I see the police that deal with the women when they tried to protest. There are complaints as to whether the argument as to whether the police should give permission or not to give permission. That debate was on, and people were not sure what the totality of it was. Anyway, the time come, the weekend, the Monday morning. Luckily, I did a holiday at the moment, so I had time to look at my phones and follow up the broadcast. I noticed SLBC, I noticed AYV, and I also hear it from 98.1 and other independent broadcasters will use their phones for beaming what was going on throughout the country. The country. For instance, there's a program we had, they capture incidents from different parts of the country. There was a lucky chap they were lucky to have a chap who, not even one of the fellow I remember, I don't even Sabia. He beamed his Facebook Live up at Upgon. I saw the SLBC man going from St. John, coming up to Clock Tower in Abacha Street there, up Kisi Road, right through. There were people moving around. So, in fact, the narrative that was being given is contrary to the pictures we were seeing. So most of the broadcasters, there's one chap, I don't know which Colin said, I think, not the Lincoln, Colin said, General Kaloko also, he had a symbol attached to his pictures trying to say it's the APC, the APC, the APC. But this protest had nothing to do with the APC. A lot of attachment has been done. People have been trying to link the APC. The perpetrator, the person who actually organizer, we call the instigator or whatever you want to call him, organizer in Holland, he has repeatedly stated that he's not APC. And if now SLPP serve day on, if now APC serve day in government, as he had been doing, he will criticize. This is a protest against not only the general level of hardship or price for petrol and stuff like that, but there are other factors, not just the prices that was going up, escalating day to day. We ourselves, the UK, with the film, We know what it is. Daily we see our prices going up. So that is it. But to attach the APC, there is apparently a determined effort, which is to me is a failed effort, to tie the APC to this particular incident. Unfortunately, it's a sad, especially that bad image, or the worst image that was in my mind since it happened on that Wednesday morning. When the protests come on Wednesday, I saw all throughout the initial stages, people dancing with placards. The boys and young men and young women were boisterous, dancing and singing. Yes, they did sing. We want peace, mother must go. We want people. It's just a song. These songs go all over the country. I mean, even in England, Boris Johnson must go. Boris Johnson must go. There was a huge amount of radio, broadcast, TV, everything about Boris Johnson must go. First they tried it and they went to Parliament and they voted. They won the no, the vote, no confidence vote, and they still carried on.
Senior comrade, permit me to just hold you there for a second. You just don't tell me something about what's happening at UK, because the narrative, Madam must go, it's now been peddled around by members of the SLPP as if it is a novelty in the political landscape of the world. It has never happened anywhere. So if you say Mother Bio must go, for them then they can say now overthrow. And I just hear you talk say this did not happen in Britain very, very recently, when the British people we don't become so much discontented over the lies of we outgoing Prime Minister Boris Johnson, where they lost them during COVID and tell people they stay at home. All of a sudden, it begin organized party them and number 10. The information come out, and then they ask him, Eli say, Allah, it's not to so it be. And later, he not thief money, he not kill person, he not do any of what he Mother Bureau do in Sierra Leone. Then the British people, as you rightly say, most of the media outlets them then turn against this man and say, they say, if I go. So it seems to me it's not a new narrative in politics. Why the Paopa or the people who really support Paopa, they want to twist the story and try to paint a picture, say it's a new thing in the world. Come on in, sir.
Well, you said it. It is not a new concept. This is what is a protest? A protest is just an objection to and a complaint against what you think say not correct. Things that happen. I mean, let me go back before I go back to Sierra Leone. I mean, when Mrs. Thatcher introduced poll tax here, which the equivalent of we hot tax or tax war, we were the first one to taste that poll tax in 1898 when Baibure had to put his foot down. Baibure protested. He protested, and he got the chiefs and other people to protest against that. That also became a violent protest. But this is the same thing. When Mrs. Thatcher introduced poll tax, the way house tax house rates be run at this country, not everybody in the house that they count for each person for pay in own tax by the host. Now the host and the pick, the one green bill account for the one host, but in own poll tax, everybody will be in the inside use, but if you work, you get for pay. That caused a lot of resentment because even people where they earn a lot of money, they find and they work hard, then the wife they work, then they begin to work, they all inside the same house. Everybody had to pay. This was considered unjust. That poll tax caused a lot of problems. Mrs. Thatcher must go. Mrs. Thatcher must go. The poll tax, they demonstrate. It was in fact it actually become a riot in eventually Trafalgar Square. People got injured. It is not a wrong thing. I'll go back to the time towards the big end of Albert Magar in time, when we forget back to the elections in '67. After all the campaigns, I mean, there was a very telling song. Those who of my age will remember. They sing Kadebure name. They had some Mommy Queens then, when they used to call them the big women. Then which we will call cheerleaders now. Kadebure explicit, Mommy Queen explicit, and all that. You know, these were songs sung to object, and he said Albert Maria must go. That don't mean to say because they're saying mother must go, it means then go there. I mean, how much of those people? What is the strength of those people to overthrow a government? It's a stupid. It's a tactics. It's a silly strategy to say, oh, they want to overthrow mother. There is no way. We only have about 10 months to the election, and not only that, the protesters are singing that. But the bad thing is that the converts, what they want, there are two parts to this. Not only they want to see they want to overthrow mother, but the converting of the songs to put on the head of APC is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Because APC, with all the troubles we get, with all the court cases, with all the pressures we would look with Alfred Peter Conte's 21-man committee, internal fights and going on, then they will go grab now, say then they go overthrow government. Who is in charge? Right now, the normal arrangements themselves for run the waiting the court lay down before September registration, we're not even beginning doing it. The constituency elections, they're not the basis, the junior ones, they're not even set yet. Why would the party, in any sense, anybody with sense, go organize, go say, then they go make attempted coup or whatever? Do you make attempted coup with empty hand? Do you make attempted coup with young boys throwing stones at the police? The funny thing is, I think it was around 40 or so, I mean, they watched the program. The police and they take the stone and the stone back. And I tell you something, what you may see from the pictures they were being go, the picking them in the go with the placards and the run and the dance, until somebody got some riot police coming and start shooting those tear gas.
And let me just hold you there for a second.
Let me finish this point. Once the tear gas got shot, I think the girl was hit, and then the kids get wild. That is where it started.
Exactly. So that is the point where we want for educate we viewers them and people and where they try for twist stories. They come with wacky conspiracies. Say now the protesters then starts. So this is what I was told. And in fact, this is somebody who they're very close to me, and a friend and also a builder where they potsy. Now that kuskas where they are. Now a small brother and I kill.
Because I know they were carrying somebody, exactly. And then kids got wild. There was a car.
This is where the whole thing.
Or I think it was a taxi, and the kids started stunning the car.
Exactly.
And
this was where the whole thing started.
Yeah, I was watching from 6 o'clock in the morning because I woke up early and I was sitting. I had my phones. I had two phones. My iPad was on, and I was concerned because when this thing started and I started seeing waiting SLBS the show, I also tried to see waiting AYV the show. Then of course I bumped into this weird own program, and these two guys were going all over the place. They even went to Kamakuri. They even went to Kailahu, where it was a little quiet, and the man talking say, well, we did then and his people didn't scared. In Bo, I saw some demonstration, but it wasn't too big. We didn't talk to then did, because these guys were very, very good in showing these pictures. But up to about 10:30, going 11 o'clock, nothing happened. Nothing happened, because I remember when the SLBC man come all the way up to Upgon. It showed it. Nothing happened. They were even bluffing to say, oh, the thing has failed. People are not responding. People are not coming out. Until that incident when this tear gas, and you see a lot of tear gas smoke. It was from that moment everything broke loose. The next thing I know, the boys switched the camera. I think it's around 12 o'clock that time when I see them. Then they beat this police, and that time I do not know how I felt, because I don't think the police, that is a policeman way. Not the crowd don't go into a frenzy. They just don't lost control. They lost their mind. They just lose everything on the police. And when you take it, I'm not giving excuses here. I'm just narrating what I saw. And being a legal-minded person, when somebody take advantage of you over and over and over, the retaliation could be very difficult. And especially when there is no gap. I mean, the police, and they shoot, then suddenly they started shooting live bullets. And one of the boys picked the bullet and he shoot on my hand, said, now live bullets. And then people begin to drop. And everything started getting worse. And of course, they switched back to another section where the soldiers came in, and they were scared. They started running, but then suddenly the soldiers started becoming friendly with the crowd and calming the crowd down. And people were saying, and there was some commentary about, oh, foreign soldiers, but they were not foreign soldiers. But these are soldiers, our own soldiers. These were not the paramilitary. These were not the paramilitary. Neither was it the presidential guard wouldn't sing and shoot. They were there among them. I don't know, but that's the narrative that was given at the time. So when these soldiers came, it was amazing that these soldiers, the kids were running behind them, clapping and telling them, thank you, this is what we want and all that. And the soldiers were talking to them, helping them to clear the road. But unfortunately, people had been shot. And up to around that time, it was said about 2 policemen had been killed. I've not been seen now, only one I see where that image go left me mind, and I'm so saddened for the poor man, because he seemed to have been caught unawares by the police, by the mob crowd. And this is the kind of mob justice. When people begin to talk about mob justice in our country, it just is a danger we face. But this kind of thing they happen in sort of when things go wild. If the police, they should have not started shooting, because the first 2 days were, I mean, the shops were locked, people were fighting, and government officials were calling people. Even Alpha Khan, that very Wednesday morning, was in studio trying to tell people to go out, And then commentaries were coming in to say, well, then tell them to go out now, and they tell them to go. When Judah, the vice president, make the coffee order, which in fact technically was unconstitutional, but in fact he do his job, so people not worry about the constitutionality of it, because I say that we are not on a state of emergency and it could go to, but there's no time for that. But it has the effect of calming down the situation. But watching at the consequence of that later on, people were killed. Now, the time when the thing can worse is the killings now can become more than when the protest is going on. The protest had stopped. People have been, okay, let's say the coffee order started at 3. By 6 o'clock, things had calmed down. And by up to that time, it was like, they say it's 21 people dead. We saw the people in McKinney. See that little boy who was sitting on his veranda, shot. And he was struggling to die. I saw that image. That is not APC people to shoot them. And they want to make their own a stray bullet. It is not stray bullet. They were going around shooting people. That, after the coffee order, Alpha Saidu and Imran Silla escalated the whole issue with their so-called translations. One is saying, waiting, in fact, the vice president not saying, Alpha at the top, say therefore shoot you to this kind of, they were the one inciting now, because they have actually escalated the process. Those two men, seriously, when they do the investigation, those two men should be prosecuted, in my opinion. I also saw them in another program after the president's speech, the kind of way where they incite talk. That will come to that later. They know the help. You don't escalate things, and they want to twist it on the APC, including that chap we've been get the sticker now in camera. They show the APC here, and what we are seeing in action was not what they are reporting. And when you see Al Jazeera own image, you can see that there was the footage captured from the beginning part. What the local news media then do, especially SLBC and AYV, some of them, but they are showing, and that is deliberate. They did not show where the protest started, where it was calm, where the kids were just dancing with their placards. They only show from where the smoke is, where the kids were throwing stones. And that is unfair, because that is not a fair picture. That is not a fair picture of waiting being they go on. In fact, that is the post damage point, where the thing has escalated. If they showed back, as Al Jazeera showed, where the thing started, where you can see the kids dancing and just singing, and no stones, because I also heard warnings from those who organized it that anybody will get sick if they catch and they will get into police. When I know all stick, when I know all stone, when I know do that, when I know do that, anybody will come, when I see all stick, when I arrest her, when I get into the police. I heard that before.
Okay, senior comrade. Let's hold it for let's hold it there for a sec, because I don't get the second guest. We another a very strong social media commentator, somebody way at least na household name na social media, my comrade in the UKI by the name of Ibari, political Ibari, people in the column. So my brother, please come in and say hello or good evening to the people.
Yeah, good evening, comrade ABS. Good evening, the legend Isol Pape. How are you?
Good evening, Ibari. How are you doing?
Yeah, good evening, listeners. Well, the situation at Salon is extremely worrying. The political, we believe, Salon is a democracy.
Political Ibari, can I respectfully ask you to just adjust your camera, because you ate kind of cut off here. So if you go back, and then put the full landscape. I think if you did landscape, we'll be able to see a full picture of you. Landscape, put the full landscape instead of
Yeah, hold on for me a second. Just hold on for me.
Okay, so whilst they do that, they bring a video quick. Whilst they do that, let me get you video your image properly.
This very important information when it comes from me, Evangelist Samson, the APC media field marshal.
Oh why?
This is the wonderful voice of Evangelist Samson, the young Maui stand for the truth, the young Maui stand for letting people enjoy the benefits of the
Evangelist Samson don't go. Me brother will say you there. Yeah. Samson don't go. Me brother will say you there. Yeah. I can still hear your voice crying out while you lie in your pool of blood. They took your life away. Oh my, your land which should be your safest place turned out to be your fearful place. Why do we step aside and look? Evangelist Samson don't go. brother, who saw you there? Yeah, yeah.
Comrade Ibari, I want to start with you.
It's still okay.
No, if go back, please. Just go back. Push the you pull back.
It look funny.
Yes, I think we can do it. It would be preferable if on the landscape. You know, like where you see we so in a landscape format.
Yeah, now it's live for adjust.
Okay, so no, okay. West we adjust that, but yes, thank you very much. Now we can see the hand from Ibari here.
Well, may I just okay.
Thank you so much. So I want to start with a question, Ibari. When His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio, they don't take the oath of allegiance on the 4th of April 2018, and then after that we get a parliament, the first session of the 5th parliament, and in that parliament sitting, the statement will be making a parliament with specific reference to paragraph 135. This is what he said, and that is the quote. It say a president that is powerful beyond the limits of democratic governance is dangerous for democracy, and taking into cognizance of what has been happening in Sierra Leone. Do you think President Bio was actually talking about himself? Was he really giving a warning to the people of Sierra Leone? Because this actually linked directly to the topic for tonight. If APC miscalculates the strategy of President Maada Bio, use that as your entry, and then also give a tribute to a fallen hero when the legend himself, Evangelist Samson. Come on in, sir.
Yeah, okay. If I can start first and foremost with Evangelist Samson. Now, a very humble and friendly guy, a very nice person, a non-violent person, and a person who deeply believes in democracy and God-fearing person. I first meet with Tanai Forum where that time nobody knows Sabia himself. I mean, just a normal supporter. We, of course, identify in one forum where we've been there, an SLPP forum anyway, but we and them been they go back and front with a political argument, and always whenever the SLPP they come harsh, now can calm them down, you know, with the laughter, you know, they always remind us say we are brothers and all that, you know. So a very nice guy for me, and it's so sad that somebody like this must go through this kind of agony. And, according to the police, say because up till now they're not releasing body, and also we not get any of a relative way identify the body with them call. So for men and kill him, and according to the police in new report, and claims say the meet out gone, and you know, this is not the type of guy. Definitely, he will. I mean, not even a fly. Evangelist Samson in the hall, you know. But with the patient and wait for the investigations before we come to any conclusion. If the topic actually whether more or less we underrate the political strategy of SLPP Maada Bio the last 4 years. No, because we believe Salone is a democratic country, and we believe in the last person way go dismantle democracy, because according to him, he fight for democracy in Salone, for democracy can Salone according to him. And so like I possibly, you know, ever think he will kill democracy, he will be a dictator, he will try for use violence for maintain power, you know. So yes, indeed, in that aspect, we self and the APC is surprised with, because we didn't expect where it come, it will show Salonian and say yes, himself able to do something. But unfortunately, since we come, apparently get very bad advisors surround themselves with people that don't let us contribute for a long time. Then a revenge and brutal means na Indian sabi for Indian sabi probably most of them don't let us contribute for over 30 years or 25 years. So they don't know what really happened on the ground, and they never cared until when they want power in the country they go, and apparently they don't get bad advice. And so, but we from the APC side, we believe in democracy, we believe in peace, we believe in getting power through the ballot box, because one thing, we conducted election 2018, peaceful one. Nobody, they not crash, they not intimidate nobody. In fact, me where they talk so, SLPP can testify, say SLPP people have been dominate the polling centers. They were all over the place. They come up and down. At one point, self and come with loads of police for we, and for refuse one polling because you get polling center, you get polling station. One station they wait and try for say the number of registered voters is more than the one they wait on cast vote. So therefore close up. So that's how APC give them all the chance to participate in the election, and democratically we hand over power, give them peace. So for medicine, and then they happen now today is really a shock to the APC. And if you ask me, I would say it's a surprise, because we've been expecting this regime to uphold the minimum standard, So this is where we are, and we from the APC, they still advocate for peace. We believe that through the ballot box, we'll be able to pull SLPP, and that is the line of we own position, and that make we urge everybody to go register and vote. And we believe we get the number. As long as we people register in numbers, we will able to pull up the number, we will able to remove this regime peacefully. And with regard to the protest, APC has nothing to do with those protests. Means say we you na APC supporter, will go and protest. The protest was called by group, and then protest then everybody get free will for goodie. And means say we you na APC person, if you go there, that means you don't go represent APC. They know. You see, so this is the attempt for hang this protest on APC is wrong. It's a blackmail. It's an attempt for demonize and for discredit APC. We, they always say, APC party, not the organized demonstration per se. That's not the role of civil society, union them, and other pressure groups, and then they do that. We know during campaign time, that in with the commot, we first get our contract back from the people of Salon. We don't need to go organize demonstration, because the people of Salon and then we vote we out, and we wait for the time where we go ask them now, say, okay, well, here is the situation, we want that contract back. But we don't see no reason why we go organize a demonstration. You understand? So it's pant on fire on that one. And forward to the investigation where the Honorable Member of Parliament and leader of the opposition don't call for. We want that investigation this day, and we want also all corpses and deceased to be accounted for, and people that are incarcerated right now, waiting are political prisoners. Them, we need to know their name and details. We need to ascertain what is the reason why they hold them, and then go through the process of law. So this is where we stand, and we still maintain peace and that we did.
Thank you so much, Comrade Ibari. And I'm going to bring Senior Comrade Israel Papa on the same question, because we want our viewers to take home something very, very objective, and we're also here to purposefully, we therefore make recommendations to the parts of the APC. Again, I will ask you the same question.
Yeah.
When President Julius Maada Bio don't take the oath of allegiance, 4th of April 2018,
Yeah.
then when the first parliaments, we see parliaments be embroidered with rancor, and then the 10 of our MPs were actually thrown out.
Yeah.
And then after the parliaments don't open properly, well, disruptively, I would say, from there, the president's kind of parliament for Kangi a maiden speech. In that speech, paragraph 135 say, these are the words of President Julius Maada Bio. A president that is powerful beyond the limits of democratic governance is dangerous for democracy. He said this after they don't kick the MPs them out of parliament. Was this not an early warning enough for we not miscalculate the dangerous or diabolical strategies of SLPP as a party? Come on in, sir.
No, I don't think so. I mean, the president at that particular moment was in high spirits, and he has his ways. He's had his time. He's had his experiences. Not forget, see, he's been lucky to be the president for a second time, even though I can always be minimal with figures. I can always be particular. You go always hear you say, I don't run for 3 months. I've been serving first time for 3 months. And most SLPP people there, then go capitalize and say, we live for 3 months. I tell you exactly, it was only for 73 days. 73 days, not for 3 months. Like 2 months and I think 15 days or 24 days or something like that. It was only 73 days. But let's give him the credit for that. He has had his time, even the circumstances under which he came into that 73 days. I go left that side first. Let me talk with you, they ask me. So he was in high spirits in Parliament to give that sort of, make that phrase. But remember, say, speechwriters are there. His speechwriters wrote those things for him. And President Bio, this is where I don't understand. He's a clever man in terms of when you look in background. I saw a 2-page write-up about him when he first came in the 1996. Somebody wrote, I don't know if it might be in Global newspaper. It have 2 pages about his background from school 1 days to that. It is amazing. So he came in with that, even though we had this problem. We have had this problem. You can see that he has had the chance to become president. Unfortunately, the parliament had gone to the APC. He hadn't got total control. So the people, that's why I can query sometimes when they tell you, say, oh, the people voted for the SLPP. The people voted for the president. Yes, let's look at it. If Umfani be messed up within 103%, I don't know, say I pulled that mathematics, the dynamic I call it naphalmatics. The first quarter, he divided the results by 25%, and then another one by 25%, the third one by 25%, among all the parties in general, including the RUF party. The last 25%, what do you do? Is he say APC go win, he divide out into 50-50, NGC not get nothing safe. He give 50% to APC, 50% to SLPP. Had he gone and divided the numbers back as he been done do the first 3 quarters, APC, because Samurai was only defeated by about 14,577 votes, around that kind of figure, which is less than 2%. Don't forget, say the division in the second round was 48.7 in case of Samurai and 51.3 for rounding up for Malabu. In the first round, don't forget, say, it was 78 seats, almost 78 seats. I sat all night recording those seats. It was 78, and then it comes down. Eventually, we ended up with 68. 68 seats. Now, how come a parliament could get 68 seats? SLPP had 49 or 48. And you tell me, say, the people did not vote. You want to tell me, say, when a man go vote for the presidency, vote for a party, then he will vote for the president on the same constituency. That is not also EDB. So we had this kind of thing. So the president in democratic, he always claimed father of democracy, but even technically, he's not father of democracy. We know who father of democracy is. So, but that's another propaganda. There is always propaganda in politics. So we got to give him that. The SLPP know how to make propaganda. When they propagate against Secretary Stephen before the independence, we know how 33 senior people in the APC, Sie Kamaratilo, S.I. Kuruma, we know how they were locked up in Pademba Road. Were locked up in Pademba Road. Barton Macaulay, the Attorney General, on Independent Day, was the one who took the whiskey and the brandy, go get in the Pademba Road for celebrate the independence. So the lie with the lie by APC at the time is they say they will capture the Duke of Kent. They will kidnap her. This rumor went out. So we don't get all this propaganda long term. Not to see this propaganda they got. Coming back to Madabio position, in first round, I mean, when they talk about it, it can hurt me sometimes when they want to talk about incitement. Go to 2012 and see the kind of campaign. The warning, he sat there in AYV, I think whatever studio it was, telling people what he will do, how he will call the people in the streets. In coming to 2018, Lima was there in AYV talking about bringing the army if they cheat. I remember the presenter, that lady not there now, AYV now, and I'm not thinking that's Sierra Leone and safe. That lady, they had to cut the program eventually off from Lima because he was talking about bringing army. And that was the first time I begin to say, this boy, not problem. This boy, not problem. Then 2-3 things happen. So talking about democracy, Mayabi always want to claim his democratic credentials. And giving him personally, especially with the second innings, he wants to be that democratic president. But oh yeah, he's surrounded by what I call dogs of war. There was an article I wrote some time ago, I think it's about 2 years ago, where I said to them, get rid of your gorillas because they're not going to help you. Some of the blame when the president they get today, it would not have got it, never mind whatever had passed in his earlier life, the earlier stage, from 1992 to the 96, and then handing over that beautiful picture we can see the hand over to Pakaba, that door, not from a film. I actually clipped that picture. We become, I put on YouTube, then somebody else pick and then it become total world thing now. That clip, then the film has freeze. So that picture tells you the dignity of him. When you read about Marabio in school days, you will like the man. Before he went to Freetown, I was in Legacy in Camberwell, a club, with some other friends, including our late friend, Victor French. We were sitting there when they had an SLPP meeting in Walworth Church Hall. They came over. He came over as well with Green and Rowe. They all came over. And they were sitting there, and then they came to us where we were sitting. And he was shaking hands, and he was friendly and all that niceness. So you can see, that was just before he went to the campaign. And I also recall when he had the opportunity to go to Freetown when the Ebola would come, although he went towards the end when things don't die down. But he had the chance of going up to the people in the East to talk to them and all that. He got that niceties about him. So me, Pilse, is a man, if he get the chance, but this propagandist way he gets around them. Oh, the number for Gian Chancellor rule. Oh, the number for Gian Chancellor rule. These were the same guys, when you talk about the first question, when you talk about strategy, their strategies is to destroy the APC and let the APC look bad, rather than give the APC or individuals of the APC the opportunity to do and accept things, to what they do, for the people to accept what they do. Even when we didn't make the roads them, even I saw a post today, we say, oh, na bad road, na weakness the road, there must be, see all that kind of propaganda, they not find. Not no now. Those roads, they say, oh, na road no more than the heat, na road no more than the heat, na road no more than the heat. 29 lead to that Tolongo Nogusidoya and all kind of dance. But he wants to make be a democratic president. I recall, and I pitied him, President Bio, when he was being interviewed by that black, I think he's probably a Nairobi man or Kenya or probably Ghana, about the free education thing. And he was struggling with the figures. People extract the mistakes made on the figures. To me, those are trivial. Those are trivial. Because say, these questions are not planned. I mean, and they talk. And for true, some gains have been within the education side. Some gains, it could be better. The implementation is a good idea. The implementation is a little bit rough. The young minister of basic education, they try. I see they become friendly even with the children. I watch them every now and then. I'm an educationist. I'm a banker, retired, but I'm an educationist for those who know me. So I will follow up all those little things. So in terms of democratic principles, yes, he wants to be that democrat, to be seen as that democratic president. But we have propagandists.
Who wants to be seen to be a democratic president?
President wants to be seen to be a democratic president.
How?
And that is natural feeling. That is natural feeling. But the things when they happen around them, they disqualify that concept. Because
and that's why, senior comrade, a lot of people, they find them very, very, very difficult, basically, for agree with you in the sense that then say action pass intention. Basically, that's that thing they see.
Yes.
So if you say it's got this natural belief, or you want to have or see that democracy prevail in the way of God. And this actually brings us back to the topic, because I think the viewers are very, very curious about this, and I don't hear it from Ibari just now. There's a divergence. He say yes. He say, but in the thing even shock him. So, but I want to establish if it's a shock, it shock people, or if this is something where people there were early warning signs. If APC actually miscalculates the political strategy of Paopa. Because from the very beginning, and you as somebody who don't deal in politics of Sierra Leone for all this while, we say when they come where it can of power, first of all, we see the way it imposed a speaker. So a party was supposed to be the majority.
Can I just continue there before I forget it? That's the very point I'm making. That's the very point I'm making. Yeah. Nevertheless, he wants to be that democratic president, and that is his image. That's what's in his mind.
Yeah, but
the contrary point is that it's the people around him, not him by himself, go impose. But remember, we had the GTT report.
Yeah.
That GTT report, when you look at the composition of that GTT report, the people that were there, they're the ones, most of them, in fact, including who was the secretary, that lands minister who eventually got sacked.
Sandy.
Who was the chairman? The very Dr. Professor
Chief Minister.
Who to me did not impress me when he went to talk to the diplomats. He was so emotional. He lost his voice. I mean, he couldn't even control his voice. As a senior lecturer, call him a professor, I am a senior lecturer.
And this is why senior comrade. This is why senior comrade, with all due respect,
if you're going to lose your temper with diplomats, and I believe those diplomats took a negative view of his behavior.
Yes. And in fact, everybody, I'm glad, you're very grounded around the issues where they happen as Sierra Leone. And that GCC report was one thing where basically it worried people. I remember just after the GCC, when we don't get a GCC review process now the APC, and I went to SLBC, a 2-hour program, and one of the things that we actually came out very, very very, very clear to the people, even from the phone calls where they come in and people who need to participate, see the spirits of the language where they use now the GCC was very, very divisive. So this is why the producer of this show really want to know if those were enough early warnings.
Yes.
Where APC for don't pick up.
Yes.
Because I remember reading that GTT. This is what that's what the GTT say with specific reference to paragraph 65. It say the APC government of His Excellency President Ernest Bai Koroma was very tribal. In a way, even Kenima, where the people where the Kenima are predominantly Mende and are more SLPP, it said they not construct or refurbish one road. So the language there is Kenima was actually kind of they not give them, they not get any share of the cake, which was very wrong. It was a big time conspiracy way out. So how one would say that was an early warning, and it began call people a Yampi for a party as grounded.
Yes,
we get skewed.
It's a pity you got into me. That was what I was coming into. But before I continue that, let me identify that Kenema thing.
Yeah.
You remember the councillors in Kenema refused to work with the party.
Yeah, I know the local government. Yes.
You refused to work with the government.
Exactly.
So at the time they refused. So Kenema suffered developmental shortages. Kailaun and one of our prominent member here, Paul Ngobe.
Yeah.
When they built the Kailaun hospital, he was on holiday. He filmed it, the rough building. When they finished it, he went back, he filmed it. And some of the equipment there were even better than the equipment in Freetown. When I posted those pictures, because Paul Ngobe posted those pictures in his Facebook page, I reposted it in my Facebook page and one of my blogs. And some people said, you really talk to the no opinion, then get this machine? And I say yes. I said, go there, yourself. But coming back to the GTT report, that was, I mean, when you look at the names of the people who sat in that GTT report, including Abbas Bundu, I mean, there's a lot of people there where these are educated and people who you have to rely on, or you're supposed to get hope on. People who you're supposed to get hope on. But the language, the virtual language using, condemning, not only you could condemn somebody, but so if a man is down, you're kicking him. A man is down, we've lost the election, you are kicking him. That is a virtual language used by the professor who he is the one I hold responsible for that GTT report. And also, there were lots and lots of claims, accusations, which was so bad. Don't forget, prior to the election, the SLPP had actually demonized the APC. The protests they had in New York, the protests they had in Washington when President Nkrumah went to IMF and World Bank meetings, those and UN meetings, they gathered, including Jusuf Safa. These pictures are still there. Ben Kelfala, you can actually see his picture in the protest, and some of the people, some of his ambassadors now. This chap in London, who is now the ambassador to Russia, what did he not say? Dangerous threats that how they go burn freedom and all that.
Batilo.
No, not Batilo. The one in Russia, the one who is in the ambassador to Russia. So if they're talking, when they're talking about incitement and insurrection, that's all absolute rubbish. It is their strategy. You're asking about strategy. This is the strategy, and these are the early warning signs we should have picked up. There are videos.
Make I just call you.
I'm going to
this is him talking.
In my local language, they say in Mende, be a boy, bad boy. Okay, we don't have the pad in our hand, so we can't say we've heard it. That's the direct translation. Okay, so we haven't got the pad in our hand yet. We've seen the bird. We've had sight of the bird. And oh boy, we're going to catch it. We're going to catch it. We've got plans for catching that bird. And that bird is State House and the Houses of Parliament. Come 2018, no matter what APC is going to do, we are ready to fight. And you know what? I, Mohammed Yongao, chairman of UKI, SLPP UKI region, stand with our current national PRO when he made a proclamation. If APC declare war, we the endorser.
Yes.
He's referring to Lima there.
Yes, so he are they play Lima Yun, because I am building a premise here for see if I'm able to pull off this question.
Well, I want to finish the strategy. I want to finish the strategic part of it, because before you come in, the strategy, you're asking whether these are telling signs which we should have picked up. Yes, apart from people like Young Girls warning, and apart from what we've seen in the GTT report, I go one step back on the night of the first round. The night of the first round, when the police went up to, I think it was Jubail, or where there were some unfinished building. I don't know if not the building that they make the lodge now for the president, but they were monitoring the elections there with telephones and computers and laptops. So this was not known to people. So they say they got a white chaps away. They say then they hack. There was an accusation of hacking the results. And when they went on there, Ali Kaba escalated the situation, and he stood at the gate, and he made so much wahala that people saw that and picked on that. There was a chap somewhere in America, I believe he must be in Texas. He then made an audio, and he was calling in Mende language all the people. Then they can't capture them president, then president-elect, then they can't capture president-elect, Nakomana. It was, I mean, I still have that recording. And that was the sign. So we had that problem. Then, of course, it comes to the petition. When after the results have been announced, the rush to swear in Bintumani Hotel rather than going to the normal channel in Parliament. I mean, that is something we could have said, well, why? Anyway, the swearing in took place. Then suddenly we had these petitions coming out. APC had 32 petitions. SLPP had, I think, 13 or 16 petitions. How it happened that, being that the president has now been in charge, even though APC had 68, because the numbers in Farley had cancelled about 200 polling stations that night, which lost us some seats, because by the calculation on the night of the election, we had 78. So it came down to 68. And when we get the petition came in, it was the SLPP petitions that were heard. And one of the judges who is now the Chief Justice, he was in the High Court. He interpreted some kind of situation where he brought in and refused those 10 people, I think it was 11 of them, not to go and join in the vote of the Speaker. That is where it started. It started with the High Court, and it was Desmond Edwards. He was the High Court judge, and he was the one that passed that injunction. And there was queries about the validity of that injunction, and the fact that he has not got the right as a High Court judge to interpret the Constitution. That interpretation should have been done by the Supreme Court. But he has misused the power, the court power. And you know, judges, once they pass something, once they declare a judgment, you can only go and appeal against the judgment. But then, by the time in good safe go appeal against the judgment, they call for the election had arrived, and the clerk of the house then ordered the sergeant at arms to call the riot police and beat those people out of Parliament. I have never seen that in my whole life.
So that is exactly
telling signs the APC should have mobilized.
Thank you very much.
This is how we failed.
Thank you very much.
I am not accepting, and I still will not accept all this groveling about, oh, them pick Samura, now that make them all vet. Yes, them vet. But in fact, that picking of Samura is not even correct. That's a translation of people, that biased translation of what happened. And as Commander George Gapi picked Samura, he put all 26 of them or 28 of them together in rooms. They couldn't come together. They tried to do it in the way how the Pope, the elected Pope, all the cardinals, they will be in, and they will come in and pick one person. Then you see the white smoke. But what we were seeing from the APC is black smoke. They couldn't see eye to eye. They came out.
So
they came
I've got Ibari back. I don't get
this point.
We don't get Ibari back. I don't get Ibari back.
Pa, we never meet you. When eventually say, well, Pa, we never meet to pick one for we. So the Pa pick one, and when they pick the one, he not just pick no more, he presents the one to the delegates, and the delegates confirm. So they become to twist this narrative that the Pa single-handedly picked the one man. That was not how it happened. So people are being fooled, and this is the SLPP tactics. There's another thing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Senior Comrade. Ibari, I'm going to bring you in a jiffy. Let me just play this video for reviewers that we don't come. The time don't they go. The time now is 9:17 UK London. I want to say thank you to Una waiting at the platform. So please, Una help we share this link. We want plenty of people to come in and be part of this discussion, because we try to actually peel the onion for find out whether the APC badly miscalculated the political strategies of Paopa. And I don't get one of my guests don't begin accept say the episode will happen in Parliament. It was a wake-up call. So, but today again we get a dual role. We also give tribute to our fallen hero when Evangelist Samson. May God forgive him in sins that we don't do. The people that way badly, brutally murder him in cold blood. Let God begin hold them. Now this world say next world. So please stay tuned, and I bring Ibari soon.
This very important information when it comes from me, Evangelist Samson, the APC Media Field Marshal.
Oh why?
This is the wonderful voice of Evangelist Samson, the young Maui stand for the truth, the young Maui stand for letting people enjoy the benefit of the
Evangelist Samson don't go. Me brother will say you there. Samson don't go. Me brother will say you there.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We don't come live again. I get with me, Ibari. You don't wait for a very long time now. But before you actually come in, Ibari, I get this. Please listen to this audio.
It is always the duty of the military to intervene to protect this constitution. And let me come, please. Let me.
So that was Lima.
Yeah.
Doing
that lady caught him
an Escobar in time.
He's left
every day a live TV program. Because the facts have been twisted. It say it is always the job of a military to intervene, according to Ram, and for take up governance. And it say it's that time because MPC and Escoma don't do a big dereliction of in duty, we call for let the military then take over power.
Yeah.
And he was not arrested.
No.
Today, just the protesters, we repeat the same statements. We're not new for say Marabio must go. We don't get within the call today. Necropolitics. That is the style way government can use who lives and who therefore die. And in that process, we don't get a lot of people and they will don't die. One of this person, now we own hero, one of the heroes them, Una Evangelist Samson. So that is the definition of necropolitics, naked use of political power. So these are all signals before you go before Madabio came in as a president. And I asked you earlier on if APC miscalculated their strategy. And partially you said yes, but you didn't expect it to the scale where it unfold now. Have you changed your mind, sir? Come on in.
First and foremost, APC did very well. The strategy we follow, that it make SLPP basically fail, because what we do is precisely for left them and watch what they do. Then do so many things. Then start with, the Paopa mentality. Bulldoze themselves in parliament. Okay, we could have from there on take on the SLPP, but what we leadership do was wise. We went through the process. We went to court. We protested, and they refused to listen. They said, "Okay, maybe wait," because we serve. We don't know for quite a while now that the SLPP main goal is to basically eliminate the APC. Why that is because most of these people, them, including the former chief minister, them people are people that we have hatred, we have revenge against the APC. What is they don't know? The APC of Second Stephen is not the APC of post-war or civil war of Sierra Leone. So they still, but because then former politicians of SLPP, we after 1977 election, 1970, the same label politician, and they talk to Second Stephen, he remove. We end up forget one party state. So most of them that did them basically politically suffered. So they get that vengeance. Somebody like J.B. Francis, and so many others. Of course, we seen your comrade Israel Pape, because he was, part of APC Denton and Lee, a vibrant person within the APC. And so now, because of the encounter with that revenge mentality, all the focus now on APC. And everything where they do, then they always try for fool the supporters and the people them for say, oh, APC, now him left this game, now him left this, now him make so, now him make so, now him make so, now make we not if move. We left them to go with that narrative they blame APC. Say then silence APC. The vacuum was there because the APC now not able to play the role effectively as opposition, because the SLPP, any side we turn and the quiz and remove the majority in parliament. We've been forbidden the most vibrant parliament ever in the history of Salo, forget, because the legislature was in the hand of the opposition, the executive branch is in the hand of the ruling party. So it could have been, we are really democracy before don't function. If SLPP been clever, then if we don't try for use by partisan and for show say yes, they want deliver, and then if we APC block the now parliament, they will say, well, that is the time they for don't blame APC. Well, any project will bring APC the blame up. APC the block on the parliament. That could have worked out for them if them in guessing. But what they can they remove by force, by thunder, by fire, they remove the parliamentarian, sidelining the constitution, because according to the constitution, we'll be supposed to go for election. Understand? But then take the seats there for themselves, which is not in the constitution. That's not what the constitution says. If you petition somebody, he loses seat, we have to rerun that particular constituency, but they're not doing. fast forward, we leaders, the strategy was simple and very effective. And we left them for make a rule, but they no rule. They focus on we.
Yeah.
You understand? And then they can get as a senior comrade APC, President Cambio surround himself with militant, radical war dogs. We then their own mission all na for kill the APC. And then believe say that is the way they go maintain power. Now, who say APC miscalculate is that is internal politics. Now there I go say they miscalculate. The way they treat SLPP was very effective and efficient. At the end of the day, they failed because they're not focused for deliver the project the way they come. They decide to focus more on APC for destroy APC. And they fail for destroy APC because APC is a grassroots party. It's a party where they don't deliver another country. And coming to the accusation that APC not do nothing at Kenema, well, I know very well that APC so many times attempt to do projects in Kenema. The very mayor then, Kefala, he decided, no.
I think they use earpieces for I think because the voice the viewers and they complain about the voice.
Okay. So
thank you. Yes.
Okay.
Go on.
So what happened is guy for say we the APC we decide for keep quiet and left the SLPP for exactly fall in a situation whereby they're supposed to deliver for the country, then pursue APC all kind way. Everything when they go bad, then they blame APC. We keep quiet. It's not that we are afraid, but we said, okay, these guys are doing something that is very, very unusual. Instead of then focus on delivery, then focus for kill the APC. Okay, that was where we now realize say they were they get for fail in the project. Okay, because since when they come, we don't see how the method the way they use the blame game on APC, and we know say one day and as time the whole thing unravel, and around the left palm prices and they go up, you know, from we left bag of rice, it already triple, you know, and then feel the same thing. So the people they begin realize now say, oh, no, them people here are a total failure. And the more than they fail, the more they have the warm against APC. Now coming to that Kenema issue. Kenema, there is no city in Sierra Leone that, apart from Freetown, there is no town or district where enjoy development which Kenema district under APC. There is none. I know it for fact. Okay, under Saka Stephen, Kenema enjoy the most developed of all the districts, and also the living standard in Kenema under Saka Stephen was even better than Freetown. Okay, that I can attest because I live, I mean, I possibly live and grow up in that place. Now, also, Kenema, the way the benefits, where the benefit under an Eskuma is not materialized because the politician, the way they did it, they fear the fact that Kenema, the people that actually weigh in terms of supporting things, there are much more people they don't understand. They are much more flexible. If they see it's a good thing, they think twice. But because the mayor, especially Mayor Kefala, he realized if the development way Seka Stephen did do during in regime na Kenema, if APC repeat them back, then go hardly get chance to convince them. So as a matter of fact, every development where APC will make Guyana, then they block up. Either they eat the money or they block them, they sabotage them, so they don't allow any meaningful development from APC for good, because they know that is how SLPP Seka Stephen be keep Kenema district under in wing. It makes sure say they have the best economy, they have the best development of among all the districts there. So now coming to this what's in the happen now today. We have a problem with the APC at the moment. We say we miscalculate is thinking that we go try for appease certain people them inside the APC, and the more we give them one finger, and the more they take 5 fingers. Now we don't reach to a point now where not to SLPP cripple APC, rather than internally people they call themselves APC, that they don't cripple we now. And SLPP use the opportunity now for say, oh, okay, they wire, then get internal problem. We don't try for knock them out. Now we use that internal problem the way they get. We'll cripple them.
So, but what's wrong with that? But what's wrong with that? Is anything wrong with that? If SLPP saw an opportunity, and politics is always politics, they say, you know what, let us act on it. It was a favorable political condition. No help them. Now they want for not at the pitch. Not we just push them. What's wrong with that? I just ask.
Yeah, well, that is where, yeah, of course they come. It is actually difficult for me as an APC, but it is a good strategy any political party will use, or any government, any ruling government or your opponents then will use for keep you busy between ourselves. If there is any miscalculation, it was the idea of entertaining people that actually when a selfish agenda then be get. Then if you look at the people that always complain, now either then they complain on personal basis, not about Sierra Leone, not about the people of Sierra Leone, not about whether they want to develop or improve the lives of Sierra Leone, and they're not being get each other. Rather, it is because they not give them, they not make them flag bearer, they not give them a symbol for run as MPs. You know, it is all personal issues, not about the country. And when you begin encourage people, then because of personal, you know, aggrievement, being aggrieved personally, and because, well, I be one be this, I not be this, now this make, now that make, when you begin entertaining them in the political party, don't and open the Pandora's box. The political party must have discipline and organize. People therefore learn when they enter politics for lose. You not for mourn about that. When you lose, you for don't grab back, fight another day. You understand? But apparently people they take this so personal, they rather see this party, you know, in fact disintegrate, lose election, than they let go and realize, say, okay, I did try, I was not lucky enough, I was not chosen as a flag bearer, I didn't get symbol, but I need to move on. Let me change my strategy. Maybe next time I will have luck. This is what they not do. So million worries right now is the internal. Okay. Now, with regard to SLPP, I mean, they always tell people there, I say, time get for Kamudi take on SLPP. Let them pull horn safe. May una left them first, because why? Who side through the in a democracy, if they elect you, if the people then remove a mandate from you, okay, then give to another political party. You just get for respect them and left them at the rule till and time down. Okay? You not get for say you go organize demonstration or you protest or you defend them. The only time will be the for example, mount demonstration or join demonstration or complain is that because the way they treat parliamentarians. And we always say that if there is any dissatisfaction about how then they rule the country, now that make we get civil society, okay? We get unions with religious organizations. You get other lobby groups, human rights organization. Then can organize a protest, a demonstration. But APC not organize a demonstration because we not a rival to them, and then pull we the people of Sierra Leone, now they take the contract from we and give them. So what we they do, they wait till the time near, we come out now loud and clear, say we want that contract. And this has been the line of APC. Say we know they come for topple we now we hand over give power. You see, and we always remind the SLPP we had all the possibilities for hang things them by APC SLPP leaders, okay, and put them in jail, okay, because we could have easily hang a corruption case by Madabio, because already we on flag bearer, okay, that time we had ample of evidence for say he played some dodgy game when he been there as a temporal president or chairman of the junta regime. And then Ali Kaba also would have been of interest, you know, because of civil war. And so many other we could have used those methods, but we left them. Okay? And then check about all other incidents where Madabio blocked the convoy of Aniskuruma, you know, when they even threatened, so many threatening statements, we never did anything. People like Alpha Saidu Bangura, he make them hate APC, he throw away narratives on social media, he returned back alone, he campaigned for SLPP, nobody no catch up.
Yeah.
Lima do the same misbehavior them. He was detained briefly, but nothing more than that. He was not tortured. Certainly, he was never killed. Okay. Then we remember again a whole a protester. He go lead down before the police. Before the prison officers then truck. You know, but because the APC government made it clear to the security forces, these are opposition, treat them with respect. They have rights because we are their opponent. They have rights to express their opinion. They have right to say something. They have right to agree with us. We made it clear. So, and the election also then get all the platform, all the means for campaign peacefully until we go first round, then win we, second round, 14,000 votes. Okay, imagine 14,000 votes. Any authoritarian government is very easy for change them for sweep aside the opposition. But we handed over power peacefully. We leader and former president go sit on serve. They do all kind of things, go molest and in place, go humiliate, and he kept quiet. It is not weakness. It's because we want to still maintain peace, and we want to make them people here with them conscious. Except they sit down now, they say, hey, but no, we don't go there, we don't go master this man inside Impala. We don't do all kinds of things. We don't come out, you know, safe thing. May be careful. But
I guess, comrade, my question I want to ask is a follow-up question before we basically that's just some tell viewers them. Fambulem, we don't actually open the phone line officially. The number to call if you're calling outside Sierra Leone or outside the UK, the number to call is +44 744 833 8290. If you call within the UK, United Kingdom, now 0744 833 8290. Call us. The topic we'll get today, we want to know if the APC miscalculated the strategies of Paopa. And now, thankfully, I don't mean get me the panelists, them, senior comrade, with senior comrade also Israel Papa, and then also another political commentator is also comrade political Ibari. They are will gravitate towards that. The question I don't hear you don't talk.
I want to just touch on two small points where Ibari bring up.
Come on.
Information. Ibari mentioned about Kenma's development on the Shaka Steven. One thing people not remember, Kenema, one of the most important MPs, where I help for make we win the 67 election was Kaisamba, Kenema Central. He was one of the SLPP. We've been vexed, Pastor Albert Magai, him, PJ Williams, Prince Williams in Bo, Mana Tayama and Briwa, and forgot Vin Rogers, he was the fourth person. 4 SLPP strong people. They said they will not work with Sir Albert again. So they went independent and they were trying to get them to add to the numbers. So APC numbers, so there was an argument about APC get 33, SLP get 33, it wasn't. Those people refused. And Kaisamba was one of those. So because of that kind of benefit, that is an added factor which gave Kenema the love. We make them get to do that. The other point I want to make clear, he mentioned about one party state. And this lie when they can say, oh, APC don't rule, then turn me to one party state, one party government. No, as Albert now start this one party thing. In fact, Jaka Stephen was against the one party state. Problems come. Now, after the intervention of the NRC, the National Information Council, when Justice Smith eventually can become the, because look Justice Smith do the overthrow. Lansana made the martial law and stopped sending Ganoman into the swearing in State House and stop the swearing in, arrest the Governor General and everybody else. Jaka Stephen had been sworn in. That's why a government already started. A government already been established. That is swearing in of the ministers. And the sad thing is the person who they said was about to be sworn in was Ibrahim Taki when Inganoma stepped in. And that man was only about 8 months after he passed out in Keret and Sandos when he go. If not then 2 together pass out. And my friend Larry Boston, now here in Ghana pass out there. When they return to Sierra Leone, within I think 10 months or so, 9 that thing happened to that man. You go as a lieutenant, you just go as a lieutenant, and you go put your hand on thing like that one.
So I guess my question to you, my follow-up question to you, just keep your thoughts, please. Keep your thoughts. You just don't actually shed lights because now for let people know the reason why Mother Bill is G3 about overthrow. So the 67, that era, was the beginning of overthrow, and it was SLPP machinated plan. And since then, all the overthrow we don't take place at the country are SLPP machinated plan. So where APC involved? Who's APC involved in all of this?
Never ever involved. I mean, let's put up David Lansana. He has a personal relationship with Sir Albert, because I think in wife and Sir Albert, and I think there's a relationship between Ella Kublu's sister. I think it was there's a close family relationship with David Lansana, whom Sir Milton had refused to make the head of the army. So it's recorded in the army books that Sir Milton did not consider him that much. Well, let me not use the word acceptable. So it was not acceptable to Blackie, who was the white general who was about to leave. So he didn't leave it. It was after Sir Milton had died and Sir Albert had come in before Lansana managed to switch into it through Elakoblo's influence. So he became that point. So he was now personal, and he was also, he did not quite get the understanding, I think, of the voting, that the chiefs numbers should not be added to the main politicians numbers. So even the governor general, when he decided to appoint Secretary Stephen, he made it clear that the chiefs were not counted. One judicial decision will he make, and that is a precedent as far as I'm concerned. That governor general decision day, that's a judicial decision. He said the chiefs never paid nomination fees, so they never would count it. That's why they were trying to get them a second house. But because we're small, so chiefs cannot make those decisions. In fact, I think as at now, the chiefs voting in parliament as we are, because they have this 14, now I think 14 districts, where they give an advantage to the government, because the chiefs then feel say Paopa therefore vote for the government. No, it is by their conscience. They have a conscience, but because now the government is giving staff, so they always vote with the government. That is stifled democracy.
Thank you very much. That's
stifled democracy. Parliamentarians, they should do the debate. Chiefs, as we said now, could take part in the debates, but the chiefs should not be allowed to go to those crucial decisions where they vote, and then we're having this
because they are not voted. They are not voted. They're not voted.
The Governor General Sir Henry Lightfoot Boston said, to me, that is a judicial decision when he decided not to include the chiefs in the counting. That is what National misdirect where you go.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Senior Comrade.
That part we should begin to think about, and let we find the chiefs. They have got a council of chiefs. Let them sit there, consider for their own place, because that is customary law they're concerned with. We are doing common law in parliament. So let us do the common law. Both laws will work together. Let the chiefs seek the interest of their people, but let the chiefs not come and bastardize the constitution because they think, and that principle came from the white man, from the governor, who used to select 7 members, independent members, into the old legislative council. When the 7 members they vote with the governor, because the governor was in council at the time. When the governor stepped out before Sir Milton take over, when they make Sir Milton chief minister. And so it was that principle that was, after independence, molded to get the chiefs to begin to vote just like how the governor in independent officials been join them for run the government. So chiefs technically.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Senior Comrade. Thank you so much. You don't give me a lot of insight. I think I come to Comrade Ivan.
Sorry. I was touching on that one party state. What I wanted to say is, in simple terms, is people should not keep on saying APC one party state. That one party state for the 17 years, where I think 17 years or so, where it run from 1978 to 1992. Everybody there inside. SLPP people that inside.
What's the government for
SLPP member will not be vice principal. We had SLPP member will not be finance minister. Shalia Joseph, who was the head of the SLPP. We had judges like Bubakar, with a vice president. We get all these people. So even Samabanya, he came in and went out. He had ministerial posts. So that period from 78 to 92 had a whole lot of people. Secretary Stephen was trying to get this fighting to stop. So let all my enjoy together. That is why the one party state was made.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So now we don't know. You don't actually flesh up the arguments. We don't know now. Say the so-called one party state was actually SLPP were the progenitors of that idea, and even when it was practiced, it was more or less like a government of national unity.
It was
a mixed bag of APC,
yes,
SNP
I could name names. I could name names. MS
So
people like the Colombian them. I can name a whole lot of them. Where they from the.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the insight, senior comrade. I think at the council, Ibari, the question we want for ask Ibari, the time they eat we up now. If you take into cognizance of what happen, you being a man way grounded into the politics of the APC, they follow lots in social media, they sleep, they try for always propagate the message of the APC. Now we don't come up to this point. It seems to us that there's the 21-man committee don't reach a dead end. I'm going to ask you after this quick break the way out. So keep your thoughts. 2 minutes or a minute you come back for cancel we. What do we do as a party going forward?
This very important information when it comes from me, Evangelist Samson, the APC Media Field Marshal.
Oh why, oh why?
This are the wonderful voice of Evangelist Samson, the young Maui stand for the 2, the young Maui stand for the people to enjoy the benefit.
Evangelist Samson don't go. Me brother will say you there. Yeah, yeah. Samson don't go. Me brother will say you there. Yeah, yeah. I can still hear your voice crying out while you lie in your pool of blood. They took your life away. Oh my, oh my. Your land which should be your safest place turned out to be your fearful place. Why do we step aside and look? Evangelist Samson don't go. Me brother will say you there. Yeah, yeah.
This very.
Soul rest in peace.
Indeed.
Ibari, I will repeat the question. But before I repeat this question, I will add something. I will spice up this question with an audio. Please listen to this because this will guide you to your answer.
In this party. Yes. When it was all dark and doom, I know where I stood until this party came back to power in 1996. I have never explained how they came to power, and we not do so tonight. That's true. But I know that they didn't just wait. We didn't just wait. I wasn't a part at the time of the party. I wore green, but a different green.
I wore green, but a different green.
Mm-hmm.
So this man wore green. He was in a military uniform.
Yeah.
He was supposed to serve Sierra Leone as a country.
Mm-hmm.
But he said, I wore green, but it was a different green.
Yeah.
And the time it was saying, the time he was actually referring to, it wasn't even, he was actually head of state, but he wasn't the one vying through the democratic process. It was
this is the thing about it,
what he was saying there, he helped out in the process for Tijankaba to become the president of Sierra Leone.
Yeah,
he did that to help someone. Now he's in governance. Now he's in governance. He's desperately seeking for a second term. That's why all the shenanigans, all the killing, all the intimidation. So I'm asking you a question of somebody who is very, 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 very effective on social media. You have APC in the inner muscles of your heart. You want APC to win. Now we have a 21-man committee. The viewers are there listening to you. What will be your solution? Come on in, sir.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, brother. Comrade. First and foremost, the situation where the APC in is it's a situation where we need to get ourselves out very fast. And if ever the people them of Peter Conte, they listen, if understand, say, every political party, they get internal problems. Okay? They fight within. We APC party is no exception. We go disagree how we go, how we go reform, and so many things. But we say today, the leadership accept a lot of things, then give way to many things. Way to million really analyzing the situation that time. They could say, no, we lost election at a very small margin, not huge defeat. So what is the complaint? What is the grumbling? You know, we're not doing anything. We will stick around and fight the next election period. But they accept all the demands of so many people, them, including these people, the way they run around, they claim them and the reformers. Now here we are. We believe, say, we own enemies or political rivals. Sorry if I use enemy, political rivals. Then they now exploit this internal division, and they use them for keep we in disarray, for keep we fighting each other until the next election. Because anybody when they look at the Sierra Leone today, no one will tell me, say, genuinely SLPPA will win election because they're not able to do anything for the country. This is a flagship project when they talk about free and quality education. It's a hot air. It's not in there. You know, we education system is worse than any time in our history. But they just ring this bell no more because they have nothing to show for. The economic situation, mind you, when they the Allah say, well, this thing are global. Well, I want to remind the people them where they listen to that nonsense. Say 2008, as we take power 2008, the world was into the biggest economic crisis. And APC take over power. 2008, where George Bush, where Obama used that crisis day for be so popular and beat win the election 2008. And that was the time where Lehman Brothers, that bank, we collapse, we bring down all the banks in the world. There was no crisis worse than that. Yet, an Escroma will manage to make the Salon economy the best performing in Africa. So this talk of a global crisis, no, it's a lazy excuse. Still handle our economy, we can still deliver something. But this regime not ready for that. Now I always ask myself back and ask the people them way think say what in this regime they talk is true. But may we ask ourselves, so what in people like Paul Kagame will take our country to from civil war where 800,000 people then die. So what in are the thing the way them people they do what we not able to do, what we your leader not able to do? What in are the thing where somebody like Magafuli do where we not able to do? What in are the thing? And mind you, let us stick with Rwanda. We get more resources past them. Okay? And also we na a country we're not a land of country. So what in that man they do, and it's not a democracy per se, multi-party democracy, but what in that man they do, what we not able to do? These are the things they need for us, the leader. For say, okay, all this we civil war, we don't get civil war, Ebola, and this, that, but Rwanda the civil war is far more worse than you. But yet, this is the country where it's a talk of the time at the moment. And we also get global crisis, but you never ever hear them say they get this and that problem. They are moving. Now, coming to the APC. APC, they don't...
Hold on a sec. We get a caller. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. May I know who is calling, please?
Hello, did you hear me?
Yes, we hear you. If you just move a bit away from the set, then we will be able to get you clear.
Oh.
Yeah, I think okay, I'll move away so long.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, so just say your name quickly so that people can go know that are you.
And my name is Kamara, and I just want to say good evening to all of you.
Thank you.
And I have been watching to get a concern. Now, this concern is the registration for 2017.
Okay.
And this question goes to Papa Israel. So
Okay.
me concern, but me concern is Papa working with you this time around for improve the registration process. Because when I look at the statistics for 2017, we get almost 7% of women registered to vote. And we only have 42.9% of men. But the most shocking part is the first-time voter, young people.
Yes.
So this time around, what things APC could do will improve this data, especially for the young people, the first-time voters.
Well, what do you don't know? What do you think? Say for
yes.
You don't know?
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yes.
I don't know yet. Okay. I don't want to know. Waiting at the strategy, waiting to get for
Thank you. Thank you.
For able to influence the young people that for
Yes.
register.
Yes.
For vote.
Thank you very much for it's a question. Although I'll not be able to reach to that part yet, I've been listening to get later on. But anyway, I can answer the question. The problem we have now is not only the mobilization and the publicity and encouraging of our youngsters to go and register. You know the dates for the registration starting from the 3rd of September. But this crisis what we get last week, this protest went on become violent and a lot of shooting and people are now being killed. This thing now we get for the appeal to the leader of parliament and the APC leader of parliament to take it strongly, and in the very Alfred Peter Conte himself from the party side. So we appeal strongly to the president and to the authorities for make them hold off. Did you get me? Hello? Hello? Everybody seems to be quiet.
Yeah,
hello?
I got you.
Yes. Yes. The young people them.
Thank
you so much. The young people them, they not forget scared when it comes to the day for go vote. I know say this waiting not happen this last week. People are so scared and people are worried. Some people not in their own self. Make them for intimidate people. They don't go worry. Especially in the north and the western area, especially that east part of Freetown. People have for come out, and we for also put the pressure on the government for make them stop these night killings, because it seems as if we don't come into a situation where we are getting death squads going around. This protest done from Wednesday. There was a curfew. The curfew done Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And look how they go massacre we own young man, Evangelist Samson. This is deliberate. And to me, that no matter, even the Inspector General of Police in statements, the incriminated statement. because they don't tell lies in that statement when you read it in totality. But your question dealing with waiting for increase the numbers, we just can persuade young people them for go do the registration so that the name will be on the documents and on the register. When election time come next year, they will have the opportunity to vote. Because without your name being on the voters register, you not go vote. I mean, in this civilized country, when you name not you can identify yourself, then where's the out they can do out? Because we not get all this jabba for go begin to go line for go vote. Then we send you paper notes, you feel like saying that where you go vote, say no, can I vote? They see you find name you vote. So we not got a problem there. So what people that they try now is now for make people that not get scared, let them make up themselves. Hopefully the tension will not die down. But in the meantime, Cherry Coco and Alfred Peter Conte, including the Secretary Abdul Kabu, they should put up the pressure now on the government to get the dogs of war out of the street. We not get death squad in Sierra Leone. We cannot accept that. People have been killed. So many people have been said to have been killed. So then they try to put fright on people there so that they're not able to go vote. That is what I think we should be doing. And our members should still continue to propagate, inform, and advise people of the dates them when necessary for go vote. They're already overseas. They can left for first 1-2 weeks. And I hope the planes then don't begin go back because Brussels been done withdraw for a while. But let people that want to go register from overseas, let them go fairly, say like a week, 2 weeks before, so that they make sure they register and get them people there for register. Talk to them people them over there, let them register for get this government out. I mean, politics. One government in today, another government out today. Here we are in England, the Labour Party is trying to get out fully the Conservative. We not get war. Thank you.
Thank you so much, senior comrade. I think that's you echo one important thing where the caller comrade Kaligwe for take away with there's been a strategy where SFP they use now then capitalize on the situation where that could have been averted, because when you listen to what Solomon Jamiru say, he said the President Madabio is fully averse on waiting the happen at the country. So which means this protest could have been avoided, you understand, and get away. But in fact, they come and begin calling faceless people and all the rest of it. They want for let it happen, basically, for use them as an excuse now for reduce with people into a kind of a fear where they happen. I think that's why this morning I circulated a piece where I talk say, I'm not saying all the images, but the vast majority of images that we parade on social media, they are fake. Just go to the police website. I understand, say we go now certain police stations and get billboard and all that, say they look for people, you know. And the only reason why this they happen, and I'm glad you mentioned Alfred Peter Conte, Honorable Cherikoko, and Honorable Abukabu, because they have a responsibility now. We want to see them people here right now. We don't care what is happening with the politics. Politics is always politics. But this is about the APC. We want to see them in together. We don't even want to see a press conference of parliamentarian on one side, a press conference of the 21-man committee, and this. We want to see the APC. Let them people here know, say, when SLPPB win elections, some of us were actively involved for restore hope in the party. Most of them people here now what they talk about so. Trust me, they're not be even kind of party office when we lost elections. I don't want to name few names that will be the candidate. But when the GTC came out, a GTC review committee was constituted. We worked for 2 weeks. Then we do what's called the first press conference. That was the press conference when we know say APC get national executive. Yes, we get some national executive will be there with we, and let's just name one person when Amodio Kaikai, Kamokaba, and others they be there, Pansane, you know, Pasani, there will be see them, you know, we will see some of them people, but the vast majority of the former flag bearer, Samuel Kamara was there, to be honest, and even though they do the and call the GT review, what's and call, Kelfora Mara was there, but just one night from the area, you say, don't can London. So we restored confidence. Some of us, we don't eat, we not drink nothing. We went to the TV and radio for argue with this government. Then they threatened we and they do all kinds of things. We did that because we want for restore the dignity, for restore hope. when you take up a position, it comes with responsibility. And the responsibility now what they happen is for see them, they all come together, we make sure that they restore up to the people. Because look at even the post where they go around about Ade Macaulay. There's nothing. The police don't want Ade Macaulay. Maybe they get that thinking there, but there's nothing. So people are all doing this. This is a calculated ploy by the SLPP for letting them instill fear in people when they not come. So I think so too need for do Comrade Kadi. All of us, it's a response. I think we all get this responsibility now for ensure that we talk to people, we restore up to them for telling say it will be over. This is a passing storm by God in power. If this is the price we will get for pay, we will pay them for restore democracy. But we cannot be intimidated continuously. You understand? Even winners, where there are people that talk, if we talk, we do this, we do that. We just laugh. You understand? So I think that is the case. But let me bring, thank you so much, Kadi. Let me bring Ibari also into this, because this is really, really, really important. And you be there at a point for Hammer. I really want to conclude because we are coming to the end of the program. It's about solution, comrade. Go on, sir. It's about solution.
The tactics of intimidation not the work. The people of Sierra Leone ready for exercise the right to vote. Probably voting even I go see happen, I go wish it happen is extension of the time of voter registration, because the government not able to cover the place, the whole country adequately with machine them. So it would have been clever if they make a 2 months instead of 1 month, so that we get much people then for register as possible. But I suspect the government of SLPP knows the more people they register, now the less chance they get on this election. They know that. They know for sure we will beat them flat in an election, because they don't admit say things are hard, and things being hard, they're also not able to manage the situation. You know, things getting hard, the way you go manage the situation where people then go understand, but not to this kind of brutal way, not to this kind of way where I see the most primitive thing where they do right now in Freetown for go block the street of Abacha. You know, they build fences and barriers. You know, these are people where they go ill living. They not get anywhere. Government not provide for them anything.
Comrade. Let me interject you quickly, please. I apologize. Just hold your thoughts. You know all of these things are happening, and you know, as somebody with grounded in politics, that there is a political undertone. There is a state capture agenda at play here. We should know this. This is not a hidden secret. So APC being APC, where we know say we beget very shrewd politicians them from we forefathers them. I think say at this moment, maybe one of the big things that we're supposed to know they can't talk now, because that will actually it is seep deep into your strategy. But just a way of something what we declassify as an advice to the stakeholders and the members of the APC community. Except if we want to talk about SLPP problem, we talk and say go. We know it will be endless. What do we do? There is a stalemate in
part of the strategy that this intimidation or make people regret why we do this and that. We the urge and we get for go mount campaign for make people then go register. People then very aware. We will not start this campaign already for make people then go register in numbers, okay? And so we are doing that. So the caller we call the awareness campaign day. We hit the road just because of this few days of fracas where we may take place. But we hit the road for sensitize with people. Them we blog as the way they try for kill and run after some of them for me they left the country. You know, then on social media, they enlighten the people, then they explain to the people them, and then they direct the people that who say for go register. You know, God willing, we go succeed in the registration this time around. People then go register like no other time in the history of Sierra Leone, because they know what they go through right now. But coming to the party APC, as I've been now conclude, we get a group of individuals way back. And when I listen to Lima, today or so, now yesterday, make the interview there with Nongowa radio station. He say, well, the APC already we depend in fighting. You understand? And that really is really a statement where the APC people they now for look into very seriously that them people here, this is a message and determine for use them proxy here inside the APC for keep we busy with we self from one court to the other, from one battle among each other. The election near, we are not properly prepared. You know, for fight an election like this general election, you need time, money, and organization. So we problem now, any can say inside the APC, we must make Peter and go and say they cannot hold us back. They cannot hold the destiny of this country back. They need for come back to the drawing board and realize, say, SLPP where they been getting internal problems, where even then chase Sumane Kapen, then chase away people like Yumkela. They molest so much people them. They make confusion among themselves. None of them ever go court.
Yeah.
You know, and up till now, the one themselves were not satisfied with the SLPP. People like John Benjamin, John Karimo, the main proper APC, SLPP abroad, when they are abroad now, America and UK, they keep quiet. They not take any action, they not they criticize, they not they oppose, they not they do nothing, they keep quiet. Okay? And when we've been there in power, we get ample of opportunity for do something, but never the APC go to that length for begin use people like of this standard. Peter Conte is not really a top operative or a senior person at the APC, where for can keep winning at this kind of level, it allow the dismantle we whole leadership, cripple the whole leadership. And today, in the day, he is with all what we see, they work in the interest of the opponent, SLPP. That must stop. Every APC person for now mobilize in strength for facing Peter Conte and tell us, say, enough is enough.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Barry. So I think say Adekangi, senior comrade Israel Papa, 2 minutes for let you make your closing remarks. We don't actually jump out of full time. You guys have been really, really fantastic tonight. I want to say thank you to Barry for you answered the call of APC at a very short notice. May God bless you and let's keep on the fight. The message we don't put people and go listen. So come on in, senior comrade Israel Papa, and give us your closing remarks. You have 2 minutes, sir.
Thank you very much. First, before I keep this for last, let extend me deep. I will not talk about first. Deep condolences to Evangelist Samson, saying him Hassan Samson Dumbuya. I will mistake in a context, but Hassan Samson Dumbuya, according to the official reason, to imparents them. It's a nice young man. I got 2 boys myself, so I know where I see what I see and how I feel. The younger boy, when he was growing up, I think age 16, I think he was a sportsman. And one day, going on the street, them picking and run around the area. Police come stop him, go try to catch them. In which you have a bus stop, then and go. But it's already kind of he cried, going a sportsman, very proud of his heritage. So he was upset. So I went to the police station. I said, "What make all up? I want to see the report to be right." So then give me the report eventually, and that gives us the kind of thing we deal with, when police deal with. But I want to say, hush to the wife and the little baby, just over a year old. I mean, he will grow up now without a dad. They kill that poor man there. I heard some people in some tape, and they say, "Oh, I mean, they do this, what did they do?" Yes, he did call for the protest when he said, yeah, people that go out and all that. But even if the man commits a crime, you don't shoot him. You arrest him. You arrest him and take him to court. But they say they set him up. I mean, the new story coming up. I am not going to go. There is an investigation going to come out. So let us see the investigation. But from which we don't begin to see the IG in report, to me, he has incriminated himself. Because first of all, the press release not there on a letterhead. Now, it appears to me, from my own past experiences dealing with students and all, somebody write them for them, let read them. Obviously, they can get speech writers, but they write on a letterhead. The fact that as a professional IG, Inspector General of Police, could come with an important statement like that in ordinary letterhead, then he contradicted himself within the document. If you read the document, first he say, then they run. If people in the run, even at war, women in the run, they shoot them. If in the run, you shoot them on a criminal offense, no murder. If the man don't surrender, if you catch and surrender, you say na insurgents, they were trying to pounce. How can they trying to pounce? Then 5 or 6 sit on a buffer. Then they try to pounce. They will not try to plant a gun. It is obvious from the document when you read them that it's an attempt to plant something. There was no crossfire. How we go get crossfire away? Now the one game man will kill, shoot and treat them, shoot on their foot. If you don't want to go close up and shoot on their belly twice. What is the crossfire there? Where is the bullet? So this kind of thing. What you want for big the APC party? They say they're not able to get the body up, the bodies up to now. Not can be like that McKinney one where we take almost months before they get the bodies them. Let the government get some kind of compassion. I saw the meeting with the president with the interreligious group yesterday. The Archbishop, the Catholic Archbishop, I praise him and I thank him for pointing out the failure of communication and the level of communication, how you would talk to people. He gave one nice scenario about in Cook, understanding the economic situation, talking about price control. You see, what if they control price and all man will keep that that you want? I mean, that was so apt. I also listened to Sheikh, I think his name, the Sheikh with the Interreligious Council. Instead of talking on, and when the president meets with the chiefs, I had Chief Fasuluku on Kono. It was very brilliant, but at the same time, they seem to not have the courage to say to the president, you should have been talking to people more. Femi to the school, that was one thing she was saying. Talk to the people, President. I also wrote that some time ago. Talk to the people. Get the dogs of war out of your cabinet. Get them off. Lima should have gone long time. President don't see that in it. I understand say you don't see that in the WAP. I don't talk openly. Lima is a dangerous element in President Bio's team. It's a dangerous element. And his name has come up in this Evangelic Samson institution many times, including Abu Abu. When Abu Abu do that, what he do, like McKinney, president suspend her, then he bring her come back. I think that was a disaster. This president, Mr. President, you don't make mistake in that. There's a plenty of mistakes, but at your time, they will give you as I observed the president's posture yesterday. I can see that he is shaken. For the first time, I can see he's shaking in this incident. So let's get, as a human being, let's forgive those people who then kill. They say, oh, then go give the policeman them and civic clearance. But what about the ordinary man? What are the ordinary people who then kill? Even we don't even know the numbers yet. On the official numbers on the first day, they say 21. Now we don't hear say they don't kill another. People going to the mortuary and they keep on seeing bodies and bodies and bodies. We need a proper investigation into those deaths. We not get answer yet for the Pademba Road one. We vary from 30 to 150. We don't know. Bodies will be buried. Again, let it not be like say when see them find body in the street, then go bury 60 together on mark grave. Then find body in the street, then go find another 80 together on mark grave. People's houses are being raided. People are taken out and shot. We do not have a police state. We do not have a state where they will work with firing squad going on and eliminating people. The protests don't done. Julian don't make Julian, the vice president, don't make him in coffee order. The coffee order time don't done. It has been lifted. Then we still get people being killed. It has to stop. So for make this country go with the meeting where you don't begin to get with the inter-religious people, them maybe go get on with this with the civil societies, them, and let people then stop these insinuating figures, speeches, high speeches, trying to blame the APC when the APC got nothing. They've tried it on the mayor. The mayor got nothing to do with that. They tried it on Samura Kamara. Samura Kamara got nothing to do with that. Let's tell SLPP must stop. Those strategic communication officers, by now they should have been sacked. Because, I mean, how can you go and libel the mayor just after the president's speech? It was, if not me, whether they will win or not, Mayor Akisoya should institute a case, a lifeline case on Imran Silla, Information Minister Rado, and Alpha Saidu Bangura. That particular incident after the president's speech, that program they will then make now a deliberate, libelous, malicious libel. Is this Akisoya should personally, individually take a court libel action on them. Whether I can win or not, that is immaterial. But it should put a case against those three for that particular program, not for anything else, but that speech they will make, that libelous speech they will make on the mayor of Freetown. People for finance them and therefore if we take them to court. And I'm waiting, knowing Akisoya in brilliance and your husband and picking them for the name of the party as well. Forget about the party, but that deliberate lie with a lie on the mayor. After that particular speech day, she should sue under the new Libel Act. Put them into court. Whether the Chief Justice panel or not panel, it doesn't matter. But there should be a record in court of libel against those three. And those three, it is time, Mr. President, I think Rado surely give him some other job. And also, you're not pleased with what Njame say, but we get compassionate people and within yourselves. Deal with them. The dogs of war, it's time you get rid of them. So I appeal to all the parties, I appeal to all the youngsters, keep cool, keep calm. When the time for registration, when I go register. Then one day of we members the way they vie for this flag bearership, I want them all sit down and consider themselves. What is my position? This is where I am. This is my goal. Where am I in this trajectory? Look the strategic position. Look the possibility. If you go on board, you know go get Comot Day. Comot Day left. Let me not go back to 26 man and go for posting for pick. We not get picking now. Not all fair. So the last year I want to say, I want to appeal again to Cherry Coco, the leader of Parliament, Cherno Majuba, and also with Alfred Peter Conte. Never mind watching Alfred in position B. I know we'll talk with like, would I like, I would not like, it's not matter to. For the sake of the party, you got to compromise with the secretary. This business of you issuing a secretary, Abu Kabo issuing a press release, then the publicity, whatever I call himself, issue, and two people not impressed me in that place. Bumne and the publicity, they not impressed me. I mean, their appearance in studios, why don't you read them? I mean, it's a little bit faulty, but never mind that. Let them try and work together now for the interest. We don't have time. We don't have time. You see how the West African, the ECOWAS chairman virtually ignore or snub Peter Conte. So Peter Conte need people to work, and he can only work if you work with Cherry Coco. You got to work with Cherry Coco. He's the man in parliament. He's the leader in parliament. And being the leader in parliament, he get more clout. He get more clout. He get more clout. And he must Compromise. Now you say them therefore hanged. Now hanged business. Now bring all this pick. Now hanged. If they don't hanged, they're not going to. And then they left for wash them dirty linens at home. I mean, so wash the dirty linens in public. They should stop washing their dirty linens in public. You know the SLPP plumber. They keep it to themselves. When Batilo and Prince Harry go for fed for chairmanship, it come in the end. When the women's leader team come, they fed. They compromise in there, even though some people still bitter. But let us wash our dirty leanings internally, not in public. So that is my final thing. For the president, I mean, I can see he was very shaken, but there is no coup attempt. There was no attempted coup. Those who propagate them kind of thing, let them stop. Because now big thing they want to bring inside. There was nothing to do with coup. There was nothing to do with coup.
Senior comrade.
Never mind the people talk, say, let mother go, let them marry. There's a common call in every dissatisfied societies. It's a common call. They always say the leadership, oh, let it go. It doesn't mean to say that we go take up, then push and do. No, that is not it. So we're going to escalate the situation by using words like insurgency, terrorists. This kind of language will not help Sierra Leone externally. By the way, why is the governor of the Bank of Sierra Leone?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. God bless you, senior comrade. We want to say on behalf of the producer of the show and then the entire team at the APC UKI online TV platform monologue program what they call Everyday Politics. We want to say thank you. Anytime we call you, they come. Anytime we come, you can give a lot of knowledge. You know, you've been around for a very long time, and we want to say thank you. Let God continue to keep you amongst we and make you able for the transfer the knowledge because we want that knowledge. Thank you so much. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming now to the end of this program. It's the APC UK and I online TV monologue, and today we will get a very very interesting topic. We come for basically try for check on waiting people and they think with regards to the current problems that the APC. I want for Kando me closing monologue and then call this program. We try for close but before that, I want to start for give a tribute to a fallen hero, Wena Hassan Dumbuya, of blessed memories, aka Evangelist Samson. Usa you day, let God actually forgive you and all you sins the way you do, the people away murder you, the people away take you life, they murder you in cold blood, then they pay for this. And you've gone, my brother. But I want this to be in record. It might not happen in our time, but this don't sow a really bad seed in Sierra Leone. The targeted assassination of APC people don't left a bad taste in Sierra Leone. And more so, the vast majority of victims under President Julius Maada Bio, we don't lost their life. These are young people. And most of these killings, it happened in the full spectacle of young people in back, way before keep the memories. In a very explosive technological age, where anything what they do is captured by digital logarithms, and that can be stored for a very long time. And those episodes, those images will dictate the actions of our future leaders in Sierra Leone. It's not a joke. So when leaders then they do things currently, they need to think about that. I'm going to do my closing remark in a jiffy, but please join me for give these tributes to a brother. Sad, you've gone, but your blood where mother you spill, just like where the rebels then come, they spill blood na Sierra Leone, rape women them, cut belly woman them open, maim people them limbs, and that same blood they wait today, young blood on go. They go avenge and restore democracy in Sierra Leone. We will not be intimidated. And this is what you said. It's in record. You say, if I have to lose my life in the struggle, as long as the people of Sierra Leone are emancipated, and surely we will take from where you stop and we will advance that cause without any fear. We're ready for this. Sierra Leone belongs to all of us. We're Sierra Leoneans. We believe we should coexist with one another. Politics should not divide us. Politics should not be a be all and end all. Politics should be for the betterment of the people of Sierra Leone and not the other way around. Politics should not put a sword or wedge us as citizens. But this is exactly where Mother Bill is bringing this country. It introduced a primitive model of politics. We're very, very dangerous, very caustic, very uncivilized. But it's doing this for so a bad precedent for generations yet unborn. And this is why myself and several well-meaning Sierra Leoneans them are worried. And that's why we cannot keep quiet over these things. Some of us are in record when we participate in governance. When APC slip up, we will talk behind the scenes. If we feel say our leaders, they know they listen to we spoke out. We're in records. So point some of us people in the evening, they tell we say enemies within. We took that because we knew it was the right thing to do. If I love my mom and dad, I don't want my family for let it day in disrepute. For me, for last Sidona us, I see me mama and me daddy, then they go into something, we get a tendency for spill over neighbor they know and the family disgrace. I have to talk to them. So if I can talk to my mom and talk to my dad about the peace of the family, why should I not talk to somebody that may come with, we meet up like political party, where everything what they do is voluntarily. And this is why we talk to everybody. But before I go deeper into my closing remarks, please again join me in this solemn tribute for fallen hero, Evangelist Samson. May your soul rest in perfect peace.
This very important information when it comes from me, Evangelist Samson, the APC media field marshal.
Oh why, oh why?
This is the wonderful voice of Evangelist Samson, the young Maui stand for the truth, the young Maui stand for letting people enjoy the benefit of the
Evangelist Samson don't go. Me brother, who saw you there? Yeah, yeah. Samson don't go. Me brother, who saw you there? Yeah, yeah. I can still hear your voice crying out while you lie in your pool of blood. They took your life away. Oh my, oh my. Your land which should be your safest place turned out to be your fearful place. Why do we step aside and look? Evangelist Samson don't go. Me brother, who saw you there? Yeah, yeah.
It's really hard for ending. The reason which he make, I am a very brave person, I must say. But the mind tell me I have this strong feeling for say the way and manner way President Julius Maada Bio in government mother this young man. He don't left a bad taste in Sierra Leone. I don't know why I have this belief. This don't actually come and nurture a seed of way for actually blossom and create a systemic vengeance retribution as well. unless God bring for we a compassionate and nationalistic leader in a Puritan form, not to half enough. Somebody will get to put the nation, somebody will get a compassion, somebody will get a forgiving spirit. Papa God, all of those in the APC will vie in for the flag bearer. Give us that person. If not, Sierra Leone will be another thing. But the topic for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really keeping along, and I have to say you guys have been very patient and wonderful as always. The topic is, has the APC badly miscalculated the political strategies of Paopa in the last 4 years? And by all indication, all the submissions we wonderful guests they don't give, the point is them. The answer is a resounding yes. Whether that miscalculation was implicit or explicit is something you need for make up from all the submissions we don't give. But hey, let's talk about this. SLPP win. Madabio coming. Madabio was sworn in 4th of April. And what he said, he say, I will be a president of all people in the country. Just after that, a group of APC stalwarts headed by Dr. Samura Kamara, the then flag bearer of 2018, went to visit for the very first time after Madabio, they don't declare him as the president-elect. Then go now in residence. Dr. Samura go talk to Ram as the leader of that delegation, Usman Fudi and Sane and other core APCians them. That's going deputy chairman and leader, senior comrade Minkailo Mansere and others, Cherry Koko, a host of others were there. The key highlights for that meeting, Dr. Samura Kamara congratulated him and also reminded him about the issue will be the Hoover, will be actually then at the horizon, which is the constant chasing and killing of people, especially from the Kono axis around Tiftoto in area. That was the only Situ winner Kono in 2018. Swafe. People migrated, not in their own accord. They were forced to do so. Women were raped. We know what happened with the APC chairlady Nakailam. We don't want to talk about this issue because then just they inflict grievous wounds. We don't want that. But finally, people know about this. When Dr. Samura Kamara don't actually deliver in statements, the first response of the current president, His Excellency President Julius Madabio, is say, now una starts. This is why we're asking this question. If APC be on the rates or miscalculated the Paopa strategy, the president in his response was, now una starts. Instantaneously, it injects a binary distinction between us and them. That was a red flag. After that, the election of the Speaker of Parliament went abysmally wrong. For the very first time in the history of democracy, a party will get the highest seats in the Parliament. That opportunity was snatched away from them through some kind of tawdry manner. That would have been a red flag as well. 10 MPs were kicked out, beaten, molested, dragged out by state security. It was a red flag. Going forward, we get a GTTR, as senior comrade Israel Papa be mentioned. The language in the GTTR was very divisive. It was actually a manifestation of deceit. When they say Paopa, the only known definition of Paopa ideology is a manifestation of political deceit. After the GTTR, then COIs were constituted. The manner way then lay the constitutional instruments and with specific reference to the omission of an entrenched clause of the constitution way guide the way a manner where you for constitute a commissions of inquiry. Our constitution was bastardized by the presidents. The rules of court committee, they put them aside. That was a red flag for APC. The GTT, the COI went in shambles. It was a red flag for the APC. And the way the anti-corruption jumped into it, it was a red flag for the APC. Fast forward, then we can't really get basically a first lady, even a statement to some extent where it is say anybody where they against in husband, therefore beat them, it declare mob justice to them. That was a red flag for APC. For no say, it's not a joke. Going forward, then we can't get the murder bill actually starts within which man they call a necropolitics. That is the use of naked power for decide whether for live and whether for die through extrajudicial means, and begin target people and they kill them. Tom Kolimba, Lonshar, Tumbu, Pademba Road, Lumley, McKinney. And then we can get this problem. If you listen to Solomon Jamiru, the Deputy Attorney General and Minister of Justice, say the president is informed about everything which happened in the country. Of course, yes. The PPP protest was not spontaneous. They said it. We saw even the current presidential spokesperson. They all go and rubbish and tell the people for them to come out. So if when they begin to ask for people who bear the greatest responsibility is them, because what they did was absolutely wrong. If you will get where the constitution give the authority and power for make sure say you put law and order in the country, you don't see a threat, they come. You need to nip it in the bud. But instead, they trivialize the whole thing, provoke the PPP protesters them, call them all kind of names. They knew about this. ONS knew about it. You get intelligence agency, and not only in Sierra Leone. When it comes to matter of state security, it's a special activity. What do I mean by that? You get other networks of security where they operate beyond Sierra Leone, where they tell una. In UK here in particular, then gets one of the biggest snooping capability. Then they listen all kind communication. Our government was actually informed. Mother Bill choose for day na in Tifin and Tifri Waka. Idea we saw within the Africanist reports about the colossal sum of money where they scoop from we coffers the Consolidated Revenue Fund as travel allowance. This is what he enjoyed doing. Then mayhem befalls Sierra Leone. The security forces lost it. Then begin puts people in down. The protesters responded. They knew about this. Then now the issue, they decide to turn them around and put them to the APC. So the killing has been going on in Sierra Leone even before this thing. And now, even with journalists who we get when a freelance journalist, Omar Fofana, was caught red-handed. I've never seen this kind of interview. ABS seated here in the United Kingdom of Great Britain, interviewing somebody on the ground. Now me they lead them to waiting they happen. Umaru don't want to mention certain things until the interviewer therefore lead them into things. All of these things should actually educate the APC to say there is a very entrenched state capture agenda. The APC needs to be a constellation of shabby politicians. Then, what is going wrong? Then we get to your internal problems. Then the NRM came. After Peter Conte followed. Now we get a court decision. And one of the things where a lot of people they worry is the approach where the party take to the judgments of Justice Fisher when a cocktail politically, a cocktail that a political dose where it just gain a courtroom for ambush the APC. So instead of the APC looking at that judgment from a political lens, we look at the judgment from a legal lens. Of course, the judgment, in theory, in abstraction, is a legal judgment, but it is loaded with political undertones. There's traps we didn't put for we. The way the 21-man committee was constituted by a judge, you can see that this was a trench. Where are those shrewd politicians in the APC? Why will not be see this? Was it implicit or was it explicit? Either way, it was a miscalculation on our side. If the president is not working, history must be revisited. And this is as far I want to go into history, ladies and gentlemen. Before the former president became a flag bearer, and by extension, the president of Sierra Leone for 2 terms, it begat similar problems. Almost 15 lawsuits will be one hold the APC before 2007 elections hostage. All of those lawsuits were resolved throughout of court settlements. Really and truly, a courtroom, especially within our opposition, is not domain for settle a political problem. Especially where there's a dispute in a political party where interest kicks in. Self-serving agenda by different factions them. Now the conflicts left the APC vulnerable. It just start like when a boxer they go for a prize ticket or they fight for belts, then suddenly you get cramps, like your hands are tied behind your back, and your opponent is ferocious. It attack you, it knock you down because you cannot protect yourself, and that's the situation we'll find ourselves. All of this thing, and by the way, that's why I asked the question to Barry. With all what CSL people they do, in Shakespeare's, they say all is fear in love and war. They saw it. It's like football. You saw a counter-attack and you took your chance. You net goal. This is how politics they play in the real world. Now that's me when you play politics, especially in sub-Saharan Africa, all the loose ends. It is the responsibility of the stakeholders of that party for tie all the loose ends. This is where we are. So the question is, now that we established, say, we miscalculated the SLPP strategy, what is the way out? Now that we don't get a stalemate in the 21-man committee, we see as senior comrade Israel Papa, they say, people in way they don't entrust with responsibility, wherefore carry themselves in the most professional way, went to a studio, a globally viewed program to wash their dirty linens. That is unbelievable. You guys desecrated the respect we APC don't get. All of this happened because of self-aggrandizements. This is where we are, and that is the truth. So I had Honorable AKK calling the stakeholders. That was a good call to be made, because really and truly, people say when somebody pulls swear, and that's where they don't begin cage. They say if you want to go to water, we will born a village. The post we swear, and for go to water. And most of them people that we they call, the vast majority of them are the cause of who side we did this so because of malice. They've been ministers. Some of them they serve throughout. Some of them they serve halfway. Some of them a couple years. But government, the governance changed them to some extent. Then they get fast salaries. Then they get suits of office. Then they travel on first class, which they call sleep in a fine hotel, eat fine food. All of that will come up from the states. Do you guys think now no more God lek? Are you guys not thinking about the membership? Are you guys not thinking about Evangelist Samson and other young people them? We don't scatter all around. And these people always tell me they do. They're graduates from college. There's nothing there for them. They put their hope and aspirations to Una. Una they play dirty politics for cripple the APC. But to all of you, I say this. Let us pray that within happen the 10th, make it not happen internally at the APC. At least when I don't see now say you cannot push people them. Power won't defend, according to Michel Foucault, it transverse through the vein. We don't see them. We see how people them will not get arms at all. Then they charge on officers, state security with old guns. Then they back up, then they run. They couldn't save their lives. Are you guys going to play on the hearts and minds of APC to the extent that they wage war against Una? Is that what you guys want to do? It will be nasty, it will be brutal. We don't want to go to all of that. Evangelist Samson was very hopeful, say, with all what he do so, one day APC kind of power, then even if he not gets appointments, then he feel, oh, I succeeded. Where is Evangelist Samson? Where is Abbas? Where is Minister Pamela? Where is Kaba? Where is Victor French? Where is Momo Konse? Where is Sayo? Where is Alam Kuma? Where are all these comrades we don't pass? They were very hopeful, say they go they would win at the fight. And who next? Madabi, we don't even know people the way Madabi don't murdered. It could be any one of you guys. It could be any one of you guys. So if you not feel say, we not hold the party hostage, including yourself, Alfred Pizza Conce, comrade. I know you come, you take the party, go to a courts. You've gotten a judgment. But in politics, nobody is a winner. Nobody is a winner. Politics is a deadly game, comrade. Anything we do, not overdo them. Anything. And to you guys, to all of you where don't sell out in the party, we know now. We get all on our files them. You guys will not get away with this. I promise you now. The young people in the kill so now picking all some of them the overseas. The young people in the kill so some of them all are picking in the overseas. We not get that understanding. Say, bro, this world is a passing stage. Now side and say everybody they come and play your own role and pass. All of us are actors. Why should your selfishness cripple a political party? What can you eat? How much salt will they leak from a one bag salt? The way we leak all? No. So I am not here to molest anybody, but I'm here to vent out the frustration of people out there. People they call we. People are frustrated. Right now, we dare to communicate with everybody where they in hiding, people where they on the run. Look at our comrade Mokoa, our youth leader, Eastern Region. Box, All of these people in the out of the country, please let us have some kind of thinking about others, not just about us. All of this malice is actually fueled by people we don't taste from the past government of His Excellency President Nkrumah former. Now we don't balance back. That's not the way life operates. There's a proverb which says, he who called the shots yesterday and today will not call the shot tomorrow. Only God now they call the shots at all times. So think about this. Please, we want to now let all of us sit down and I listen to senior comrade Richard Conte. May you begin in so rest in peace. When you talk to the former president, say this is a time to bring us together. Before this thing happened, President Nkrumah, the success of a leader is not when you're on time, it's how when you exit the institution, when you pass through for Billy who side it this, how that institution did now in the define your leadership. This is a trial times. Today, you're not a towering figure, not the world politics, if not the world politics, but in the Africa continent, you're flying high. You have a huge responsibility to use your own knowledge, your political know-how, the experience, your competency for restore peace in the APC. We're begging you, sir. Peace starts now home. Look at Kenya. Look at countries that we don't successfully conduct elections. We are begging you, sir. APC day in flames. Please, sir. We're begging you. Please do that magic. The aura we get for talk to people. Up to today, you have a huge influence in the politics of Sierra Leone. We're begging you, sir. Swell at that pits and ensure that you restore peace so that when you're off politics, you will say, I left my house in order. And so the registration, voter registration, I am going to talk to all the youths them. By the way, Udeo Tuna, please conduct yourself lawfully. Watch your back, and we're watching your backs as well. But let us don't allow the Madabio government to instill fear in us. We have a responsibility for emancipate the people of Sierra Leone. There's no way if we be afraid for all we forget peace in Sierra Leone after the 12 brutal civil war. People went to the street to protest against very vicious people that will be old guns that time. We're not asking you guys to do that, but we're asking you guys to stay put. Everything in life, it comes with sacrifice. If that is a sacrifice we all have to give for free Sierra Leone in the state we did today, that is a call we cannot turn our backs from. So please, let we all put your attention, because when they do so, now they make us afraid, una not do what is required from Muna for make sure they will support the party in the registration process. And then finally, to the diaspora, the outgoing chairman. Some of us, let me talk about my own branch. We are in record. Israel Papa and others say the decision of Justice Fisher should not be used as an excuse for render the branch impotent, especially at this crucial time. Our chairman, Mustafa Ahmed Kuroma, the executive and the entire membership of the APC UKI, APC is in the flames. Then the above to we. This talk what they talk to if Nasaralona day, they don't arrest me. Una know this. So we have the space to talk. And the only way we're able to do so, let us don't stifle the exist or the activities of the branch. And the activities of the branch is start from meetings. Registration is just around the corner. What have we done? The idea of APC UK diaspora is started here in 1994 as Comrade Logus the Tailway. 1994. So this is actually the citadel. This is the hub of the diaspora. Anything we do now, so it affects other branches then, because people are looking up to us. We cannot keep the branch stifled. Let us call meetings. The UK not there under the jurisdiction of Sierra Leone. This is an empire. It was a former empire. How can we subject ourselves to the loss of Sierra Leone? For what? That excuse don't hold anymore. Please, we need meeting. Mr. Chairman and the Secretariats, we need meetings. Now, through meetings, we're going to communicate and come up with strategies how to support the party at these crucial moments. As much as we pile pressure to those executives, we are also outgoing executive. We have equal responsibility. So I want to thank all we follow to this program. I want to say thank you to the producer, Delwyn Thomas of Bristol Chapter. And I want to say thank you to the technical team, Mo Bangura of Reading, and Dr. Denke, London, and all my co-hosts, Mohamed Kamara, Igalo, and then Imran C, and the host of members them, that the UKI Everyday Politics Monologue program. I want to say thank you for an endless support on the GI, and then also to the coordinator, the entire media team of UKI. Let us continue. We have a responsibility now to fill the gap. Our party has been muscled, not to everybody for talk. And please help us to share this. Let everybody watch this program and get to a message. We want to let the message sink in. We cannot give up. We have to fight for democracy. Democracy is the only way in Sierra Leone. Because not only democracy, when we see they overthrew a president and then bring come back to Jankaba. So that was hope. We cannot allow a group of politicians the way emanate or way come out from the fringe of the fringes for come and can instill, for put panic. Those days are gone. So it's our responsibility for get the job done through the democratic process and make sure say we elect APC as the party we're known for progress. We're able to bring peace to the country. We're able to see social cohesion. And to the 21-man committee, finally, all is not lost. Una dust off the trust system, tie una belt them, tap each other's back and say, comrades, let's sit down and talk. It's only nuanced dialogue that will bring peace. Then nobody not able to Justice Fisher. It's just as guilty as everybody in the Paopa cocktail party of deceit and state capture agenda. So I want to say thank you to all of you guys for being with us up to this time. And this is where I bring the curtains down. And again, at the end of the program, we distribute to our fallen hero today at the end of the video. Thank you and good night.
This very important information when it comes from me, Evangelist Samson, the APC Media Field Marshal.
Oh, why?
This is the wonderful voice of Evangelist Samson, the young man we stand for the truth, the young man we stand for letting people enjoy the benefit of the
Evangelist Samson don't go. Me brother will say you there. Yeah. Samson don't go. Me brother will say you there. Yeah. I can still hear your voice crying out while you lie in your pool of blood. They took your life away. Oh my, oh my. Your land, which should be your safest place, turned out to be your fearful place. Why do we step aside and look? Evangelist Samson don't go. Me brother, who saw you there?